Shields up, Iron Breakers. How's everybody doing today on this fine Tuesday afternoon? Hopefully you're all doing good, and hopefully you can improve on that with another episode of Khan's Anvil. As you may or may not be aware, this is the show where I just talk about video games in general or some other gaming news, and today we actually have a bit of a topic that is not gaming related at all that we're also going to be talking about. But, you know, usually it's mostly about the video games, talking about them, doing all of the things. But how you guys doing? You guys doing good? You guys all having fun? How's your gaming days? You guys been gaming a whole lot or just waiting on good old Monster Hunter Wilds coming up in February? Because that's the thing that everybody in this chat is waiting for. Let's just be real. Even though the game that I put in today's episode is Path of Exile 2, because we are going to be talking a little bit about Path of Exile once I go through some of the news that I have up in here coming up. So many games to play. Exactly, dude. Like, there's just so much cool stuff to play in gaming right now that while I do understand that for some people that are looking for something very specific, they might not be getting it in gaming right now. Particularly, I feel like shooters, I don't know, because then again, I also don't play a lot of shooters, so I don't know, but I feel like maybe shooter people aren't getting a lot of stuff that they might want. Not to mention that a lot of people that enjoy shooters, particularly on the competitive side, they're getting milk dry. So I can imagine the frustration there. I mean, if you consider that most of the really popular shooter games, there's just a bunch of free-to-play stuff chuck full of monetization out the ass. Playing PoE but left solo self-found because it cuts away multiplayer. Wait, you can't play with other players at all when you do solo self-found? Well, I guess it is in the name. Solo self-found. I'm probably not going to do that in Path of Exile 2 now that I think about it. I was thinking mostly about it being self-found, not necessarily solo. Rurikhan, the chat help you set up proper movement in PoE. I'm not taking the, my playthrough of PoE, the tourist mode, as like super serious. I gotta get like competitive mode, gonna reach maximum level, whatever. It's just an excuse to play a little bit of PoE ahead of PoE 2. Okay, I'm not trying to become like giga knowledgeable on the intricacies of PoE. Got a Demon Souls and Elder Ring playthrough to finish. Damn. You can change it back after chat was made in character selection screen. I have... Oh, okay. I wasn't trying to party up. I haven't tried it. That's just Kegrin. Basic stuff to make it more fluid. The thing is, I like left-clicking for doing attacks. It's just frustrating when it gets stuck, but it's not going to be a problem that we're going to have in Path of Exile 2, because Path of Exile 2 has AWASD movement, and it's probably better thought out for controller, so I'm probably going to be using controller on there anyway. That's my plan anyway. I usually enjoy playing. Ever since I played Diablo 3 on console, it's been very hard to go back to like click to move. Click to move just feels so incredibly archaic to me personally. And again, that's not throwing shade to people. Excuse me, that's not throwing shade to people that like click to move, but it just feels incredibly archaic to me after having experienced it, controller movement in Diablo 3. That's the way that I look at it. And it's like, if you're like, oh, I can't stand controllers in ARPGs, okay, then let's do AWASD, okay? AWASD is pretty much the same thing, all right? So in my opinion, AWASD is superior to click to move, and it's not even close. It's not even remotely close. You're going to talk about Sony wanting to buy Kadokawa? Yes, I will. I mean, there's not a whole lot for me to say on that topic, but I will talk about it. Sorry for not coming to your live streams, but I've been watching other live streams. Betrayal. Ban him. Ban him! Give him a 1-year timeout for betrayal. Dude, it's fine. You don't have to apologize for that, Tango Tay. You should watch whatever is most entertaining for you at any given time. All right? Like, listen, nobody in this chat, nobody in my community is married to me. You shouldn't feel like you have to come to my stream unless you feel like coming to my stream. That's the way that I look at it. But I appreciate it whenever you do show up to the stream, so thank you. I appreciate that. Y2A's AW. I don't, bro. You know I'm sleep deprived, dude. You know I have problems with sleep. And you're going to come in here and be a goddamn grammar Nazi, Tummy Giggles? Come on now. Jesus. On a game like that, sure, I prefer controller, but for Baldur's Gate 3, Dragon Age Origins, I prefer mouse and keyboard by far. I mean, here's the thing. I will still prefer WASD over click to move any day. Like, there's no scenario at this point in gaming where you're going to convince me that like a character-driven game is going to be better by having click to move. Like, no, I don't agree. I don't. Give me a AWASD any day of the week. Any day of the week. Straight up. Rurikhan dropping the Palico banhammer. Dude, I had like a short video that I did of that. Dude, that video is so good. It is so good. I'm going to bring it up right now. It didn't get any views either, which kind of sucks, but I'm sure I can find. Oh, let's see. Shorts. It's probably one of the... Yeah, it's the last short I did. Look at him. Look at him. Up here. Look at our little guy. Look at him go. What the hell? Bonk. You just leave that on repeat. Yeah. Bonk. I just love the thud sound that it makes, like the tonk. But anyway, I actually got reminded. We gotta shout out the Thanes. Oh, what the hell's going on with my camera? Jesus Christ. Look at this. What is this? My face is all cropped off. Bro, whenever you move your camera, it's just such an absolute nightmare. You guys have no idea. Let me fix this. Every time you move your camera as a streamer, if you have like scenes set up, bro, nightmare. I'm gonna have to crop. Oh no, we're cropping Gaijin. We cropped Gaijin a little bit. It was needed for the greater good. For the greater good of me not having to move my camera anymore. It was needed. It's just what we needed. So, shout out to the Thanes, Louise Rosa, Jeremy Plays Games, Colin LaSure, tip of the hat. Appreciate the support, gentlemen. Thank you very much for being grossly incandescent as Thanes. You giga chads. I will destroy my throat for you for money. That's how this works. Oh, man. I thought we had something special, Ruri. Me too, Satori Shin. But we're still not married. You're a wizard if you use WASD to play Monster Hunter. A lot of people do. A lot of people do. Rurikhan, did you finish Arcane? I haven't watched the second season of Arcane. No, not yet. Not yet. We'll get to it eventually. Whenever I have a little bit more time. It's just time has not been on my side. Especially because for some reason I've got it into my head that I want to finish Dragon Age Veilguard. Which I was terrible time investment. Terrible time investment. We're over 70 hours in. We're over 70 hours into the Veilguard. I will say, listen, I blame lack of dwarven representation in video games, okay? If we had more video games with dwarves, I wouldn't be forced to do this. How's Veilguard so far? Combat's fun. Listen, I'm going to make a big, long video about Veilguard at some point. It's probably going to be scripted because I have a lot of things that I want to talk about when it comes to Veilguard. Make sure that I don't leave anything on the table. But the thing about Veilguard is you got to think of it like this. Mass Effect Andromeda, pretty bad story, pretty bad choices. Pretty fun combat. Anthem, pretty bad story. Almost no choices. Very little content. Pretty fun combat. Dragon Age Veilguard, kind of the same thing. Except it also has a bunch of like pandering and just like the dialogue is just so legendarily bad. But it almost feels like when it comes to Dragon Age Veilguard, it feels like there were a couple of people who were writing in that game that actually cared about the story. And those are the people that wrote like some of the combat heavy scenarios, like when you're facing off against the Blighted Dragons, or when you're fighting the Siege of Weishaupt or whatever the hell it's called. There are some scenes in there where you're like, okay, the person writing this dialogue is cool. And then that ends, and you start getting like the shit tier dialogue that you get in some of the other scenes, and you're like, well, fuck, we're back to the other guy that doesn't like this job. We're back to activist number 5 that's writing on the team. So yeah. Rurikhan wanting to finish Veilguard playing Gunlands, who will never beat the masochist allegations. Yeah, I love being a masochist. But you won't put 12 hours in Outer Wilds. Does Outer Wilds have a dwarf? No. Does it have a cool looking spaceship? No. Doesn't seem like it's that hard to, understand why I don't play Outer Wilds, does it? I do have to play that game at some point. Yeah, I've heard that the final mission's really great. I would even consider streaming the final mission, but I'm probably going to do it tonight at home. So I don't think that's going to happen. I was thinking that maybe I should stream Veilguard today. It's just... Streaming Veilguard is just poking the bee's hive, and because I take so much energy out of chat, a lot of times I just don't feel like playing Veilguard simply because I know that a bunch of people are going to come in here, start talking about how woke it is and all of that stuff, and I'm just like, I don't want to deal with that. The writing was good though, Ruri? No, it wasn't. Finally got Metaphor. I need to do at least a demo of Metaphor, and I need to play a little bit of Balatro, so that I can talk about it a little bit more when the Game Awards come out. I also want to see if I can finish Wukong, but that's a tall order. That's a lot of things. That's a lot of things. Not activist number 5, but bad writer number 5. I don't know. Deep Rock Galactic has plenty of dwarves and beer. Yeah, but it's... I don't even know... What do you even do in Deep Rock Galactic? What do you even do in... Because, like, I've never played Deep Rock Galactic, but it feels like you just go into a location and you mine and you get resources. What do you do with those resources? Like, what exactly do you do? I know you dig. You owe me a cup of coffee, Con. You got it, bro. Come to Portugal, I'll buy you a cup of coffee. There you go, Donald. You get gun upgrades. You shoot bugs and dig, and then you get gun upgrades. You upgrade guns and buy cosmetics. Okay. Deep Rock gets old real fast. Yeah, I don't know. I've wanted to... Here's the interesting thing. I found the survival game that they made, Deep Rock, the early access one that was out. That one I thought was really fun because I like seeing dwarves from a third-person perspective, right? If you're in first person, are you really a dwarf? I don't know. I'm kind of weird like that. Kill bugs and make fun of a pointy-eared leaf lover. You know, there was actually a line of dialogue that I thought was really funny in Veilguard because I'm playing as a dwarf and I made the Inquisitor a dwarf. And when I went to do the mission that I would meet the Inquisitor, Harding was with me and she's a dwarf. And so we get there and my character goes, so a bunch of elves made a bunch of bullshit and now the dwarves have to come and sort it out. And I was like... Fucking relatable, bro. We're so relatable. Incredibly relatable. Yeah, buddy. I prefer Persona 5 over Metaphor by far. Metaphor not for me. Can't stand characters. Only played demo though. I don't know. I've heard it both ways, so I don't know. But I think Metaphor is good from what I've heard. Dwarves beat Battlestar Galactica. Yeah, buddy. Anyway, I figured we'd start today's conversation with the topic before we jump into the news, because of some of the like, you guys might have seen a comment that I posted yesterday on X. I don't want to get into that, but like, basically one of the things that I've realized is that a lot of people think, like, I'm talking like people that maybe don't watch this live stream or don't watch all of the content in my channel. They seem to think that I'm trying to pose as like a games journalist or someone who is unbiased or something along those lines. Roy Mustang, thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat, appreciate the support. Thank you. What is your favorite sport and professional sports person? Jesus, that's one hell of an interruption. Let me see. What is my favorite sport? I don't really care that much for sports. My country's biggest sport is obviously football. But like proper football, not American football. And one of my favorite athletes used to be Ronaldo, but ever since he did his NFT scam, I was like, nah, bro. You have more money than you can spend in 100 lifetimes, and you're going to pull an NFT scam on your audience? Get the fuck out of here. I don't respect that at all. I don't, and people are like, well, it was probably just his agents or something. I don't care. I don't care. It's like, you think that if I do something shady on the internet, somebody's going to come to my defense and go like, well, it was probably just his agent. It's like, no, fuck that shit. You're responsible for what you put out there for your brand. Fuck that. So I was very disappointed in Ronaldo when he decided to pull the NFT scam card, especially because he's also Portuguese. So that cut twice as hard. Search Ronaldo Las Vegas for more info. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, the thing getting back to the topic that I was talking about earlier, I think that a lot of people think that I'm trying to present myself as unbiased, and I'm not. I don't know why people have this idea. I've said this multiple times. I am not unbiased. I am biased. And as a matter of fact, I don't believe that there is such a thing as an unbiased person in this earth. It doesn't happen. A lot of people might tell you, oh, I'm completely unbiased. I have no biases. Don't believe these people. Everybody has biases towards something. It's just that simple. Nobody is an unbiased reviewer. This doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It is a fantasy. If you believe that there's such a thing as somebody who is completely unbiased, you are living in a fantasy land. Okay? That's where I'm coming from. And I've never presented myself as being unbiased. As a matter of fact, I think I even said on like the intro that I put in my channel that I'm particularly biased towards Japanese action RPGs like the Monster Hunter series and Dark Souls. I specifically say it in the intro to the fucking channel. So whenever somebody comes up and starts saying like, oh, Rurikhan's biased towards Monster Hunter. Yes! Yes, I am! Correct! As I've said a million times, and that will always be the case. And it's just very frustrating to me that nowadays going online and being excited about something is something that needs to be taken in a negative light. I'm going to continue being excited for shit. I don't give a fuck. Like, what am I going to do? Be fucking miserable? Jesus Christ. But yeah. This is because whenever I started talking about Monster Hunter Outlanders, some idiot started saying like, "Oh, Rurikhan's coming in with his access. He's gonna get the thing. He's gonna lie to everybody." It's like, yeah, exactly. Just like I lied to everybody about how I felt about Monster Hunter Now. Oh wait. Oh shit. Turns out that didn't happen. Fuck, you know. What's happening, old man? Surprised the internet is stupid? No, it's just I figured I would have filtered out the stupid people by now. Cause like I really like it when people disagree with me and they can formulate their thoughts in an interesting way that you can get like some type of discussion going, or maybe I'll even learn something. But what really sucks is when usually the people that disagree with me, they're coming up with like, you're a fucking shill and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, fuck. Okay, that's not an interesting conversation. Everybody's biased. The term bought and paid for has lost all merit. Exactly. Especially because people just say, like, say a journalist glazes a game. It's like, yup, bought and paid for. And I'm not saying this doesn't happen. It might. I don't fucking know. But if you accuse literally everybody in the industry, whenever they say something positive about the video game that they're bought and paid for, then what the fuck? Everybody needs to talk shit about everything. You can't have a positive opinion on anything. It's weird. It's fucking weird, dude. Fucking weird. The people who say Monster Hunter has turned soft and easy are the ones who buy the premium deluxe versions. Monster Hunter is like one of 5 gaming series that is consistently good. Yeah. I mean, it's not even about them earning a little bias. It's like, I like the game. I'm not going to make excuses like, oh, the series has been successful for this long, blah, blah. I fucking like the game. Very much like what I've said about Anthem. Anthem story fucking sucks. Amount of content they developed for that game fucking sucked. Guess what? I still like the gameplay. I'm not going to make excuses for it. I like the gameplay of Anthem. It was fucking fun. I don't care. Fucking sue me. Go ahead and tell me that EA has me on their pocket or some shit. I don't care. I liked Anthem. I liked it. It is what it is. The bias was shown, for example, on Reddit Oscar's video when you said the Ghost of Yote hate discourse was people hating on Jin instead of the one screaming woke the AI woman character. Did you ever consider that both things can be true? Did you ever consider that both things can be true? Were there people saying like, ooh, woke Ghost of Yote? Yes. This is why, in order to counter that, my thing is just like, I can't wait to play it. I like the original one. I'm going to play the sequel, regardless if there's a female protagonist or not. That was my instant response. But I also had to push back when a bunch of people came out and started saying that Jin was a bad character, which did happen, which a lot of people keep saying, that never happened. Yes, it did. Yes, it fucking did. It happened both ways. It happened both ways. Literally everyone was saying woke when they announced that game. No. See, there you go. Literally everyone. Excuse me. I'm someone. Hello? When they announced the game, I was like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna play the game. Let's go. I didn't say woke. What the fuck? But the group screaming woke were way louder and way more? I mean, maybe. I don't know. It depends on where you look at in the internet. Ruri, they offer you $5 million, but you can't play Monster Hunter Wilds ever. You taking that? No. No. No, thanks. Excuse me. Haven't seen a single person claim Jin was bad because he was a man. I didn't say they said he was bad because he was a man. I said they said he was bad. See, you're trying to turn this into like a gender argument. That's not what I said. I said they said he was a bad character. They said he was a bad character. They said he was bad, bland, not a good character. And I don't agree. You also hoping that Path of Exile 2 will fill the gaming gap for you until Monster Hunter Wilds comes out? Yup. Haters do be the loudest. Yep. It was a nothing burger? Yeah. People seem to have forgotten what literally means, yeah. Jin was bad, I thought Jin was awesome. Exactly! Thank you! Exactly. Who is Jin? Jin Sakai is the protagonist of Ghost of Tsushima. The real crime is having Radahn as the final boss. Rurikhan, can we have some clarity on what the direction Mythic Banter is taken and how it fits into the Ruriverse? Is there a difference with Khan's Anvil? Absolutely. Mythic Banter is basically the podcast with me and Akalon. We talk about a bunch of different stuff. We usually disagree with a bunch of stuff, but basically it's just something that Akalon started up. We used to have the podcast where we called it the Frozen Sodium Throne, where it's kind of like if you think of the Third Fleet podcast as a gaming podcast where the glue that keeps everything together is Monster Hunter, Frozen Sodium Throne was a gaming podcast where the glue that kept everything together was World of Warcraft. And I had to stop doing that because I didn't have time to produce the show whilst doing all of the other content that I do. And eventually Akalon said, hey, I'll take over everything. Let's make a new podcast. And I was like, it's fine. Because I like talking with Akalon. I think he's fun talking to. I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that he says. He doesn't agree with a lot of the stuff that I say. And I think that makes it for an interesting podcast. Which means that if you do watch Mythic Banter, sometimes there will be some political topics. And while I usually try to steer clear of those, you will get my perspective on some political issues, maybe. But yeah, I think that a lot of people will be upset that I do a podcast with Akalon because he's a little bit more extremist than I am when it comes to a lot of the DEI stuff and whatnot. But I think it's interesting to have perspective from two different people when it comes to those topics. I think that it's more interesting, but a lot of people sometimes get offended. They think like, oh, Rurikhan's going to become like a political alt-right wing grifter, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, no, it's not going to happen. I don't care for politics all that much. Yeah. You should beat Armored Core 6 as well during the gap unless you have. No, I haven't beaten New Game Plus Plus. I've beaten New Game Plus, haven't beaten New Game Plus Plus yet. The latest Mythic Banter went nowhere. There was a 1-hour discussion at the end over budget because I don't believe that just throwing money at a video game makes it better. But yeah. Female main characters are boring. Heavily disagree. You and Akalon should do a co-op series, maybe in Baldur's Gate 3. I would love it if I have the time. Baldur's Gate 3 is an amazing game for doing like a co-op series. I think the thumbnails and video titles don't help, especially since it always has your face on it rather than his. Actually, you're wrong. Actually, you're wrong. Let me see if I can actually show you this. It just might be that you receive my face more often than his, but everything going according to plan, we should have alternating faces. So me, Akalon, me, Akalon, me, Akalon, me, Akalon, me, Akalon, me, Akalon. So it alternates. It's not always my face in the thumbnail. It alternates between me and Akalon. Except for the first two ones that we did. That one's like kind of mixed. But usually it just alternates between me and Akalon. So, wrong. YouTube might like my face more. If YouTube's already doing like, you know, facial analysis when it comes to choosing what it presents to users, we're reaching the next level of the takeover, buddy. I'm all for discussion and conversation. It's sometimes uncomfortable to listen to his opinions because if viewer can't interact, it's like watching a train wreck happening. People wouldn't call Ghost of Yotei woke if the protagonist had big boobs and butts. I don't want to get dragged into the whole woke discussion again because unfortunately the way things are going from both sides, what has happened is that there's no middle ground to be had. So whenever somebody sees like a black protagonist nowadays, their first immediate thought is woke. If they see like a female protagonist, same thing. And so it's like, it's a bad thing that the discourse has been pushed both ways. And it also happens the other way, which is like if the protagonist is a straight white male, then other people are going to say, there's no inclusivity or representation. So it's like, there's this constant clash. And I'm just sitting here in the middle going like, bro, can I just fucking play the video game? Jesus. Why are we making the woke theme a thing again? Let's discuss the game when it's out. Yeah, see, that's the thing. This is one of the reasons why I've been playing Veilguard. And I have to tell you, so far, the whole, even though the dialogue is fucking terrible, the amount of, because, you know, the amount of discourse that is around Veilguard, you would imagine that, like, 70 to 80% of the game would be just them beating you over the head with like ideology and propaganda and all of that stuff, where in reality it's more like 5%. It's like 5% of the game. Okay? It does exist. Like there'll be a lot of people saying, it's not there, blah, blah, blah. No, it's there. I see it. I've seen it plenty of times, but it is not like the amount that people make it out to be. Again, in my personal opinion, but whatever. Yeah, the writing and lack of choices, I think, is actually the biggest problem with Veilguard. Like, I actually showed it in a video that I did recently. Let me show you guys, because I showed it. Let's see. So this is me making the violent choice.
No. Listen to Rook. That's an order.
Right? I punch the first warden. I do whatever the fuck I want. You can't stop me. Blah, 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 blah. And then this stuff keeps going. And then eventually we decide, oh yeah, my character screams, look out! Get down! And then eventually we end up in like this corridor, right? It's like, all right, what happens if instead of taking the violent choice, I take the other choice? It's like you start arguing and you're like, oh no, the calling, oh no, bad things, blah, 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 blah. So there's no difference. The only difference is that now he says that everybody get down. And, you know, we still end up in the same corridor. Nothing really changes. And you might be like, well, there's probably something that happens later. No, because at the end of the thing, he shows up to kill the archdemon. I'm just assuming that when he shows up at the end, it would be more positive if I would have worked with him rather than if I had punched him in the face. Like, that's it. Nothing changes. And what appears to be like a major decision, whether or not I punch this guy in the face, nothing changes. It's all the same. And it's like, that's it for the majority of the game. It's like, doesn't matter what you do, it is super linear, to the point where for a majority of times, the decisions don't even need to be there. And the whole big decision on which city you save is more like, you might as well flip a coin, because like, oh, you save Treviso? Well, Minrathos is in the shitter and Nev doesn't like you anymore. Or then, oh, you saved Minrathos? Well, Treviso is in the shitter and Lucanus doesn't like you anymore. And that's it. There's like very few things actually change. Doesn't matter what you do. Please finish the game first. I will. I'm pretty sure that I'm close to finishing it. Do not save Dwarven City, easy choice. There's no Dwarven City. There's no such thing as a Dwarven City. Oh, wow. Somebody's trying to get me to shill for a gambling website. Yeah, I get emails like this every fucking day. Hey, you want to shill for this gambling website? It's like, no, I don't. Thank you. Good to hear you're still finishing it. Yeah, I think there's I've had fun with the combat. Let me actually see if I can show you guys some. Where is it? This is like my Dragon Age Veilguard 4. It's got 239 gigs of footage. If this is by order... this is recorded in HDR. I might have to put like a filter on it or something. I wanted to show you guys a combat section that I did here. Is it here? Pay no attention to the colors. The colors are going to be kind of wonky. I think it was around here. Yeah, I think this is it. Like, watch me delete these dudes. Was this? Like, I'm gonna back away, and then I'm gonna... Oh, wait. Is this the first wave? The ridiculous amount of damage I've built this character to deal. Like, this is a level... This is a max difficulty playthrough, by the way. Bong! Double combos. Boom, boom, boom. Now watch this shield toss. Watch. Boom! Just fucking deleted everybody. Oh yeah, there's one mage left. Gonna have to kill him too. Oh no, this is one of the throwing guys. You guys see that? Somebody needs to come back tomorrow. You can come back tomorrow, bro. You're being real fucking weird. Being a fucking weirdo in chat.
You're amazing, bro.
Boom! Wasn't there another group of dudes that I killed around here? Oh yeah, it was immediately after that. Like, watch. These dudes spawn, and it's pretty much same situation. Right? I see this ghoul, I kill him, and I was like, wait, what's going on? Whoa! Flame tendrils and shit! Lots of damage? Okay. Okay, bros. Check this out. We're gonna use Nev here to pop one of my things. Yep, there it goes. Gonna heal, and now one shield toss. Dude, my shield tosses are so Look at this! 3 wombos! Bro! When I did this morning, I was like, holy shit. I did not need to go that hard. You guys see that? That's a lot of damage. Yeah, this is the hardest difficulty in the game. Which, again, just goes to show you that what happens is, you know, whenever people keep saying that, like, oh, multiple difficulties is a good thing, actually. Like, everybody likes to bring up multiple difficulties is so much better. When you have more difficulty options, the game's better for everyone. It's always better for everyone, 100% of the time. And I keep saying, no. The developers focusing on one difficulty is much better than the developers focusing on fucking 50. Or in the case of Dragon Age the Veilguard, I don't even know, because you can tune the timing on your parries, you can tune how much HP the enemies have, you can tune how much damage they deal, you can tune how much damage you deal, you can tune all of these different things. And then what happens is a situation like the one you guys just witnessed, where I go in there and I'm in the hardest fucking difficulty in the game, and I throw my shield and I fucking delete the whole goddamn screen. You want to know why that happens? You want to know why that happens? Because the developers are so busy. Oh, we got to make this work with this and that work with that. And we got to think about this difficulty mode and that difficulty mode and the other difficulty mode and the other one and the other one and the other one and this one and this one and that one, that one, that one. And then by the time they try to balance the game, they do a fucking shit job at it. That's why that happens. Are you enjoying this more than Wukong, Metaphor, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? So I haven't played Metaphor yet. Am I enjoying it more than Wukong? This is going to be a really hot take, but you need to understand, I love playing as a dwarf. I don't think this is a better game than Wukong. I think that Wukong is a much better game than this, and it's not even close. I don't think these are even in the same league if you try to compare them. I think Wukong is superior in every conceivable way. But am I having more fun with this than I was having with Wukong? Yes. Because I'm playing as a dwarf, and I love playing as a dwarf. It's a ton of fun, and not a lot of games let me play as a dwarf. So, it is what it is. You can still focus on one difficulty and just tune down numbers for an easy mode? I'm not sure what that means. I like the classic system, easy, normal, and hard. Nothing beats one difficulty mode, as far as I'm concerned. Because the experience always feels better when there's only one difficulty. That's a hot take if I've ever heard one. What, that I'm having more fun with playing as a dwarf in Veilguard, deleting whole screens with my shield toss, than that last level that I did in Wukong, which was fucking miserable? Biased dwarf reviewer. I mean, if I was going to review both games, I would 100% say that Wukong's a better game, and I haven't even finished Wukong. It's not a hard thing to see. Wukong is obviously a better game. One difficulty is also more immersive. One difficulty also makes for better community discussions overall. Because you can all relate on the difficulty that you're playing the game as. It is much better. Oh, I'm not gonna spoil Wukong. To be fair, the pagoda looked like ass to play. If you mean that last level that I was doing on Wukong, yeah, that was fucking terrible. I hate levels like that. It's the type of level where you're kind of expected to rush through, and I hate rushing through levels. I hate being forced to rush through levels. Ruri, what is the best dwarf video game? I don't know. There's so few of them. Probably Baldur's Gate at this point. Probably at this point, Baldur's Gate 3 is probably the best dwarf game. Because you have a lot of really cool options of shit that you can do as a dwarf. Why are people so obsessed with difficulty outside of Souls-likes? I've never cared about difficulty before. I mean, to me, it's just that whenever you have games that have multiple difficulty tiers, rarely do they ever do a good enough job to where it makes sense. That's the problem that I have. And it's mostly because whenever people talk about Souls-likes, they start saying, like, it should have an easy mode. It would objectively be a better game with an easy mode. And I'm like, wrong! Wrong! No, you're wrong. You're objectively wrong by every conceivable sense of the word. There is not a single world where a Souls game having a difficulty option would be a better thing for the game. That's just the way that I feel about it. But anyway, let's get into some of the actual news topics that I have, because I can't believe I already spoke for 1 hour and I haven't even gotten into any of the topics. So I want to talk about the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight. This is the one non-gaming topic that I'm going to bring up. Okay? This is the one non-gaming topic that I'm going to bring up. So I saw that fight. If you can call that a fight. That was bad. That was not good. That was not good at all. And I thought it was real weird that something happened where Mike Tyson was going like this the whole time. It's like fucking biting his glove the whole time, staying open to where Jake Paul could keep punching him in the head. And I don't know. I watched the fight, and I'm not a boxing expert. I don't really care that much about boxing. I just wanted to see Mike Tyson beat the shit out of Jake Paul. I figured that would be fun. And to me, it was just a really weird holding back so hard. And people were saying like, oh, it's because he's old and blah, 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 blah. But then I started seeing some videos. There was like some video. I don't have it pulled up. I should have had that video ready. But there was like this video where you can see Mike had like, it was funny because Paul was blocking from his right side and Mike was coming in with a right hook. So the right hook is going to land on his left side. Paul was blocking here. The right hook was going to just like demolish Paul's face. And then Tyson just like pulls back at the very last second and doesn't throw the punch. And I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck was that? And then there's other like nods and shit between Mike and Jake Paul that makes it seem like there's something really weird about that fucking fight. I still believe that if you just let Mike Tyson go at it, he would fucking murder that kid. I think he would fucking murder him, okay? Straight up. And that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see Mike Tyson murder Jake Paul. But anyway, so there's this piece where Stallone says, Sylvester Stallone is implying that Mike Tyson's performance in the match against Jake Paul Netflix was all an act. Now, we have to keep in mind that Stallone's done a lot of boxing research throughout his career because of the Rocky movies. I'm not saying that the Rocky movies are a good representation of boxing. Stallone will be the first one to tell you that is not the case, because in boxing you don't just have like people punching at each other like you have in the Rocky movies. But he should be somewhat knowledgeable about the sport because he studied the fuck out of it in order to be able to make his movies, right? In the Instagram post about Tyson, Stallone writes, just to set my personal record straight, business is business. Sometimes you have to do hard things and sacrifice for the sake of helping your family. I have known this unbelievable athlete since he's 19 years old, and what we saw was him giving one of the great Oscar-winning performances of all times. So basically, Stallone is implying that Tyson, the whole thing was rigged, and that Tyson was just putting on a show. And I saw this news earlier today, and I was like, oh, I don't know how reputable this source is, but it says here, Mike Tyson and Jake Paul face 24-day suspension from boxing after controversial Netflix fight. Texas Department, I haven't read this, by the way. I'm reading it for the first time. The Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation suspended boxers Mike Tyson and Jake Paul for a statutory 24-day period. Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation suspended blah, 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 in the wake of their high-profile fight in Arlington on Saturday. The state's disciplinary board imposed a brief ban on the former undisputed heavyweight champion and YouTuber-turned-boxer. The sanctions follow Paul's unanimous victory in their 8-round fight, which commentators saw as an uninspired encounter. After 8 two-minute rounds, Paul, 27, was unanimously proclaimed the winner of the Texas fight, which was streamed live on Netflix. It was the first sanctioned fight since 2005 for 58-year-old Tyson. The bout attracted over 100 million spectators. According to Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation, the competitors are required to take 3 days off after each round? What? What do you mean 3 days off after each round? I don't understand this. Three days per round? Oh, you mean that's the suspension? Yeah. Wait, wouldn't that be 26? No. How many days suspension did they get? 24. Math's hard. Oh yeah, 8 times 3 is 24. Never mind. It's normal practice so boxers don't hurt themselves. Oh, I thought it was going to be more controversial. That's why I wanted to see if they were talking about how the fight was fixed and all that shit. Turns out that didn't happen. So, from software parent Kadokawa confirms buyout interest from Sony. So initially when the news broke that Sony made an offer on Kadokawa, I didn't initially report on it because I was like, I don't know, bro. There's so many leaks that happen nowadays that it's very hard for me to talk about anything without, you know, the opportunity for getting egg on my face. So I usually like waiting before commenting on stuff like this. You see fake news shit happen all the time and people amplifying that. So I was like, you know what? Let's hold off on this. Let's sit on this and see if something else comes up. But what we have here is Kadokawa has confirmed that an offer was made. So Sony sent the firm a letter of intent to acquire its shares, but no decision has been made at this time, the CEO of Kadokawa says. Now, here's the situation about this that we need to talk about. Obviously, for most of us in this chat, the only thing that matters from this is Sony buying from software, right? Does anybody else in here care about anything else, right? I think that most of the people in this chat, what do we care about? We care about Sony buying from software. Am I correct on that? Is anybody going to like challenge that notion? Yep. The boomer. Hey, Snarf, what's up? Yes, I care about anime as well. Wow, a lot of people care about the anime. Okay, I was wrong. But apparently, the bigger deal is from anime stuff that Kadokawa controls. Now listen, I'm not the biggest consumer of anime, okay? I just don't have that much time in my day. So whenever I have free time, usually I'm just playing video games. I very rarely watch anime. I love anime. I think anime is fucking amazing. The few that I've watched, like I've watched a bunch of Sword Art Online back in the day, watched Attack on Titan, haven't finished Attack on Titan yet. Like I watched a couple of them, but I'm not like the biggest anime consumer of all time. Because again, I just don't have that much time. You want to know which one was the one that I watched the most when I was younger, though? When I was younger, I would watch Dragon Ball all the fucking time. That was my shit right now. Okay? That was my shit, straight up. So, I grew up with Dragon Ball. When I was a young teenager, I remember trying to pull off a Kamehameha or powering up the Super Saiyan. Never happened, as it turns out. Who knew, right? But, yeah. So I don't know which animes Kadokawa controls or doesn't control. I don't know what the situation is there. But yes, I think it's more about anime than anything else. Let's see what they actually say in the article. From Software and Spike Chunsoft's parent company, Kadokawa has confirmed that Sony has issued a letter of intent to acquire the firm's shares. Clarified, no decisions have been made at this time. Statement was posted on the firm's website and signed by CEO Takeshi Natsuno following Reuters' report earlier this week that Sony was in talks to acquire Kadokawa. There are some articles on the acquisition of Kadokawa Corporation, hereinafter the company by Sony Group Inc., the statement read. However, this information is not announced by the company. The company has received an initial letter of intent to acquire the company's shares, but no decisions have been made at this time. If there are any facts that should be announced in the future, we'll make an announcement in a timely and appropriate manner. Reuters reported yesterday that acquisition talks are ongoing between two firms, according to two anonymous sources the publication talked to. Following the story, Kadokawa shares soared, reaching an all-time high. In addition, from Software and Spike Chunsoft, Kadokawa also owns Octopath Traveler co-developer, acquire an RPG maker firm Gotcha Games. So they get a bunch of stuff. Sony already owns about 14% of From Software, which is owned by Kadokawa at 70% and Tencent at 16.5%. So for us, the gaming world, because again, I'm not going to comment on anime stuff because I just don't know enough about it. I would be speaking out of ignorance. But for us, the biggest thing that is 100% going to happen if Sony gains control of From Software is, yes, From Software games will release exclusively on PlayStation first. Is that a good thing or a bad thing in the gaming world? It is a bad thing. Because you should always release on all platforms. We've seen that this is the path for the greatest amount of success, and you do not want to segregate the fan base that enjoys From Software titles. So yes, this is a big problem. But I'm going to tell you what, if it does happen, and if the next From Software title is a PlayStation exclusive, I'm likely just going to buy a PlayStation 5 Pro. I'm going to be real. I'm going to play From Software games wherever the fuck they are. It is what it is. It is what it is. There's not a whole lot that we can do about this. It fucking sucks. Like, Microsoft bought Blizzard and then just fired a bunch of people, and the whole Microsoft buying Blizzard situation was actually ended up being worse than Activision Blizzard being independent, in my personal opinion, because they bought Blizzard and then they immediately canceled the new survival game that Blizzard was working on, and they started making some really hefty decisions. It was not good. I don't think it ended up being a net positive for Activision Blizzard. Personally. That's my take on it. So I hope that this doesn't go through. I think that this going through would be a net negative for everyone involved. But, what are we going to do? Imagine if Sony makes From Software create a live service game. I don't think that Sony will be able to control the creative output of From Software. I don't think that Hidetaka would allow that to happen. I think Hidetaka would step down before that happens. So that will be the canary in the coal mine. If we read a news about Hidetaka Miyazaki stepping down, that's when you know From Software is dead. Okay? If you read it in the news like Hidetaka Miyazaki stepping down, you're gonna know, oh shit. Oh no. Things are bad. Imagine if at least Microsoft kept Activision games on many platforms. Yeah, because Microsoft can't afford to make things exclusive. Honestly, I would rather have Microsoft buy them instead of Sony. At least Microsoft keeps everything everywhere. Let me tell you right now that, Captain James, Microsoft buying From Software would be the worst thing that could happen to From Software. You want to know why? Because of the revenue that Activision Blizzard makes. If Microsoft was to buy From Software, they would just want to do it to gain all of the IP that From Software owns, and then they would shutter From Software down. Straight up. Because that is what we've seen Microsoft do. They buy them, and then it's like, you either are able to do the same output as Activision Blizzard with fucking Call of Duty, or you're out. So, no. Microsoft buying From Software, you might as well just put a death nail on the company right there. 100%. You've seen the amount of studios that Microsoft has shut down because they're not putting out the same level of money than Activision Blizzard? And do you think that From Software is going to make the same level of money as Activision Blizzard does? No. So they would shut it down, just like they shut down pretty much everything that doesn't do the same amount of revenue as Activision Blizzard. Blizzard was bad for many years before the acquisition. Absolutely. I praise that they give IP to other studios. Oh, that would be amazing. Imagine an actual creative studio getting control over World of Warcraft. That'd be amazing. Imagine, this is never going to happen, so forget about this ever really happening. But imagine Grinding Gear Games gets control of the Diablo IP, and Final Fantasy... Creative Business Unit 3 gains control of World of Warcraft. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Can't From just leave Kadokawa if they won't like it? No. Because how much they say here the percentage that they own. It's owned at Kadokawa at 70%. Kadokawa owns that means that Kadokawa owns 70% of From Software. So no, From Software can't just be like, actually, we want out. It's like, no, that doesn't matter anymore. You took the deal. Kadokawa owns them. So no. I don't think that they have enough money to buy back their shares, especially now because Kadokawa's shares have skyrocketed. So yeah, I don't think that they can just leave if they don't agree with what's happening. But yeah, like I said, I think that this is a net negative, whether that is from the anime standpoint or whether that is from the, from the anime, I don't know that much about it, but I just think that consolidation, particularly under Sony, considering the amount of censorship that Sony has done in the past when it comes to certain Japanese games, I would imagine that they do the same for certain animes and shit like that. So that would be really bad. I don't see that as a good thing at all. And them owning From Software and From Software games becoming, even if it's your like a 1-year exclusive to PlayStation 5, that would also be bad. So there's not a single thing that can come from this that I'm like, you know what? This is actually a good thing. Nope. Everything's bad. Literally everything that can come from this deal is bad. There is no scenario where we as consumers win from this deal. So I'd rather it wouldn't happen. Lots of lens flares. Exactly. Is that wild soundtrack in the background? Yeah, absolutely. Imagine Activision gets creative control of Monster Hunter. Snarf, why do you just like you just Snarf just comes in here going like, I just want to see the world burn. I just want to see it all burn. No, Snarf. No, bad Snarf. Oh, God. Elden Ring sold like 14 million copies on Steam alone. It'd be crazy to have PS5 exclusive. Sony doesn't care. Why does Sony give a fuck how many copies sell on Steam? We've seen that Sony doesn't care about how much things sell on Steam that much. Considering that they're still enforcing their ridiculous requirement for PSN accounts, even on single-player games, that tells you as much as you need to know about how much Sony cares about stuff selling on Steam. Imagine From Software games with Sony sensibilities. Yeah. I'm surprised that, like, Stellar Blade came out the way that it did with Sony. You know? Anyway, in other news, streamer Dr. Disrespect signs deal with Rumble after inappropriate messages to minor prompted YouTube demonetization. So, the two-time is now saying that, like, no, Rumble's where it's at, bros. It's a shame that you waited until you got demonetized by YouTube to say Rumble's where it's at, bros. Like, don't get me wrong. I hope that all platforms that are competition for YouTube are successful. I do, because YouTube needs competition. I think that's a good thing. But usually, gaming content is not something I see that much on Rumble. I don't see gaming content that much on Rumble. Hey, it's just a minor problem. Damn, dude. The hell is Rumble? It's a video website. The streamer's real name is Guy Beam. Announced this morning he'll begin streaming on Rumble next week, 5 months after he ceased streaming on YouTube after the Wait. What the fuck? Do these people do any research? Like, what the fuck, Forbes? What do you mean? 5 months after he ceased streaming on YouTube? Guys, I'm gonna go do some research real quick. Dr. Disrespect. Dr. Disrespect. When was the last time that Dr. Disrespect went live on YouTube? Oh, it was 3 days ago. It was 3 days ago. This was literally just go to YouTube and Dr. Disrespect's channel. 5 months after he ceased streaming on YouTube. Bro, what the fuck? See, this is just like my friend Sidestrafe would always tell me. Doesn't matter if you're the worst, so long as you're the first. Okay? Anyway, yeah, this was very much predictable. Obviously, it got demonetized. It is what it is. But anyway, let's talk about something much more interesting, shall we? Let's talk about the game that brutally murdered Diablo. It brutally murdered Diablo 4. It was funny because a lot of people were saying that, oh, it beat Diablo 4. And I was like, no, 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 no. A beating implies that your victim is left alive. Like, Path of Exile took a shit all over Diablo 4. Then it killed Diablo 4, then threw it in a wood chipper, made fertilizer out of Diablo 4, and then he used that fertilizer to plant their skill trees. There are many skill trees that they have in the end game of Path of Exile 2. Okay? Fertilized by Diablo 4. It was really funny too, because apparently, I didn't even know this, but apparently ahead of this stream from PoE 2, there was a Diablo 4 campfire. Can you, dude, bro, can you imagine having like a community event for Diablo 4 and then an hour, not even an hour later, I think that their stream went live while the Diablo 4 campfire was still happening. And they were just like, yeah, we're going to beat you to death. Jesus Christ. That must have been fucking depressing. The morale in the Diablo team. Ooh-wee. And by the way, I just want to point out, if for some reason anyone from Blizzard happens to see this, okay, I will never let it go, ever, that you guys took the season pass from a lot of players through a fucking dark pattern, and 3 of your developers admitted that this shouldn't have been done in my viral thread on Twitter, and you never, ever gave those season pass tokens back. I will never let you live this down. Every time that I bring up Diablo 4, I'm going to bring it right back up every single time. Okay? So you better hope that my channel doesn't grow at all, because I don't care if there's like the 340 people in here or if there's like 1 million people watching. Every time I bring up Diablo 4, I'm going to bring up the dark pattern and the fact that you still haven't done right by players by giving them back their season pass token. Every single time. I will never, ever let it go. Ever. Okay? It's that simple. It's never gonna happen. Rurikhan, you convinced me to buy the $480 supporter pack. I haven't even bought the $480 supporter pack. The fuck? So anyway, let's take a look at the early access gameplay trailer.
Thing of beauty, precious, but impermanent. Life and death are mortal enemies, and yet
Like, this looks hella good.
bound to one another. The continuation of life must be protected at all costs. Some have said my methods are brutal. To this, I say, there can be no salvation without sacrifice.
Look at the mercenary. That mercenary's looking hella good. Is the sorceress, the warrior. Look at that skill tree. Doesn't that just look reasonable?
We are faced with the end, and I will do what I must.
I still remember in this stream when they start talking about the endgame mechanics, and my eyes were just like glazing over. Like, I can't understand a damn thing what you guys are talking about, but keep cooking, please. The ingredients look hella good.
Let them soon be acquainted with it.
Here's an interesting thing about Path of Exile 2 that I became aware of by listening people that actually know about this game speak during this week as I was watching random stuff. Like, you see this map over here? You guys want to know something interesting? Like, imagine you're coming through here, right? You're doing this path, and then you get here and you die in this node. You know what happens? You can't keep going. It's like, that's it. Now you gotta go back. Actually, you can't even go back through here. You have to go back through here, 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 to get back to where you were. This just blocks. You can't keep going. I was like, when I heard that, I was like, wait, what? It's like, this is some serious hardcore shit. Isn't that beautiful, Ruri? Oh, it's definitely interesting. It's definitely interesting, but see, this is one of the things that might actually prevent them from being as popular as Diablo 4, but at the same time, it does cement that the people who do like it will keep liking it because they like crazy shit like this. You know? They make you work for it. Exactly. One of the things that I remember hearing the developers say in an interview that they did with like DM and Ghazi, what the developers said is that, but that also means that when we want to reward players, we can really reward them because you worked for it. You know, you got here and you're able to do the thing. But apparently you're also able to like reset the map. So you keep your character, but you lose all of the I imagine you keep your character, but you lose all the progress that you did in the map. So you have to like work for the whole thing again. But it's interesting. Will the first game still be available? Yes. It is an infinite map. I don't know if it's infinite. Is it infinite? I don't know. It would have to be procedurally generated to be infinite. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how the... Okay, so it is procedurally generated. Yeah, I don't know how this stuff works. I remember seeing them like scroll through it and I was like, it doesn't end. It just keeps going and going and going. Yeah, you need to die a bunch of times. When I said if you die here, I meant like if you fail. If you fail to complete this map. Are you going to continue your PO1 playthrough? I don't know if I'm going to finish it, but I will stream it more. It's just right now I'm also trying to balance because I do want to finish Veilguard. I've put so many hours into that thing. I do want to finish it. I want to see it through, and I'm probably going to work on a massive long video for that, or maybe even a live stream. I don't know. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do. But yeah, I do want to see that through. Once I see that through, I might play more Path of Exile. There's a lot of stuff that I want to do, because I also want to finish Wukong before the Game Awards. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do that. It's crazy. There's a lot of stuff. The towers create more map. Your next character will have a different atlas. Okay. But yeah, I do want to play more of it. It was really fun. And it was interesting because by haphazardly picking shit, I was apparently picking stuff that people were saying, oh, that's actually a pretty good build for the character that you've chosen. And probably some people even make the claim, oh, Rurikhan was like watching shit online. It's like, no, that was fucking random luck. Okay? Just go PoE 1 because we know PoE 2 will grab you. I don't know if it will. We'll have to see if it does grab me or not. I'm excited about it, though. I don't know if it will grab me, but I'm excited about it. For sure. So, like, I was actually looking at the website here, trying to figure out which character I would play. I'm gonna get a vote off you guys. How many choices do we get in votes in here? Because I can't put all of them. I think it's like, yeah, it's 4 options. So, let's see. We have Warrior. I'm not going to play a Sorceress. I'm not going to play a Ranger. I mean, Bow main. Get the hell out of here. So, Warrior, Mercenary, Monk. I mean, I guess I have to pick between the Witch and the Sorceress just to have like a spell slinging character on there. And I would pick the Witch because the Witch can have minions. So, let's see. I'm not committing to this. This is just to get your opinion. Which class do you think I should? Warrior. Which one's the next one? Monk. Mercenary. Witch. You're not convincing me to play this game, Ruri, but I'll have to watch you sometime soon. I'm not trying to convince you to play to buy the game. I'm just talking about stuff that I'm excited about. That's the thing. I'm never trying to convince people to buy a game. I'm just talking about shit that I'm excited about. See, you guys know what's up. You guys voting for the Mercenary, you guys know what's up. Rurikhan, please don't show Path of Exile to Gaijin. He's finally making some Monster Hunter videos. I don't think Gaijin would like Path of Exile. Well, actually, do you often fight other humanoids? Because Gaijin tends to like games where you fight other humanoids, if that makes sense. Mercenary with minions. Now that sounds interesting. So let's see the subclasses. Warrior pounds the ground with big chunky attacks, can shrug off the hits of smaller enemies, large amounts of armor. Titan. Titan focuses on stun, slams, and beefy defense. Call upon your ancestors to boost your slams, push your enemies to the ground, shrug off any attacks. See, slam sounds fun. Titan sounds fun. Then we have the Warbringer. There's fearsome frontline fighter, conjures ancestral spirits to pummel his foes, and has a voice so powerful his war cries can detonate his fallen enemies. I'm just imagining a barbarian screaming at a corpse, "Rah!" and the corpse exploding. He's so mad, he's so angry that his enemies explode when he screams. That's badass, dude. You gotta admit, that's fucking badass. Fusroda explodes. Exactly, dude. That just sounds like fun. Yeah, I think Titan would be more my jam if I was to play Warrior. Because I like the big slams and shit like that. I don't know about like summoning creatures and whatnot. So with the Sorceress, we have... Dude, my nose is so itchy today. Must be all that cocaine I was snorting before the show. What? I'm joking. Don't do drugs. It's allergies. See, that's why I'm like My nose is completely obstructed. Anyway, Sorceress bends elements to her will, using them to unleash devastation on her foes. Classic Spellcaster weaves a flurry of elemental magic from afar. The Stormweaver, become a master of elements who can cast faster, hit harder, chill and shock enemies en masse. The Stormweaver can even conjure devastating elemental storms. Chronomancer. Chronomancer wields powerful temporal magic that can reset cooldowns, slow enemies in her presence, and even freeze time itself. The Ranger, the bow main. Imagine playing bow, dude. Ranger is quick but deadly, peppering her enemies with arrows and then vaulting away before they have a chance to reach her. By the way, classes in this game are gender locked. The expert marksman can take down foes with style. She moves as fast as the wind and can nook additional arrows with every draw. Pathfinder is a master of flasks and poisons. She can turn mana potions into chemical weapons and stack poisons to her heart's content. Chronomancer sounds fun. You can play melee ranger like in Dungeons & Dragons. No, I can't. The Monk. Monk is fast and furious melee fighter, so it's Vin Diesel. He dashes in and out of combat and has mechanics that involve building up and keeping momentum. Oh, it doesn't involve a muscle car? So it's not Vin Diesel. Never mind. The Invoker. The Invoker wields the elements with ease and can use that power to become an elemental avatar. Oh! So it's Avatar The Last Airbender. The Invoker is also a master of the spirit, allowing him to use many abilities without lifting a finger. The Acolyte of Shayula. The Acolyte of Shayula exchanges Mastery of Spirit for Darkness, a resource that can be utilized to both absorb and deal damage. Summoning power from the Breach, he trades Elemental Affinity for Chaos. That sounds like heresy to me, so no, we can't be Shayula. We'd have to be like an Invoker. Because this is heresy. This is the heretic class. We don't do that here. This is the one that I'm the most excited for. A Mercenary. Wields a crossbow, can be loaded with different ammo types, offering versatility, power, and mobility. He also has options to combo abilities together for devastating effect. The Witch Hunter specializes in taking down the most deadly of foes. With extra defenses against magic and the ability to break the concentration of his enemies, he is perfectly suited for slaughtering spellcasters. Sounds good. I like him. Enhance your abilities by embedding gems directly into your flesh. The Gemling Legionnaire can use more skills than any other class. The more he uses, the more powerful he becomes. I'm not interested in this at all. I don't like the idea of putting crystals all over my body, but on top of it, I don't like the idea of like, oh, we put more skills. Like, no, less skills is better. Less skills that deal more damage, okay? I just want stuff that explodes. So, Witch Hunter, it is for me. And then for the Witch, Death and Decay are the Witch's weapons of choice. She can call forth hordes of undead minions to fight for her while casting powerful chaos spells. Become a master of life energy. The Blood Mage uses her own life as a resource to bring destruction to her enemies. The Infernalist. See, this sounds good. I like fire. Infernalist transcends the need for mana, instead building heat as she casts spells. With an Infernal Hound at her side, she can even turn into a demon herself. This sounds fun. So let's look at the poll. Mercenary is winning by a long shot. Good. It's good to know that you guys agree with me. It is what it is. Is there a longsword class? Ban this person. Ban him. No, bad, Brewy. Jin Wiesel. In the early access, only 2 specs will be available. Yeah, I know. There's supposed to be like a third ascension later, and this probably means that there's going to be 6 more classes that are going to be added into the game by the time they're done. Heresy from the guy that made a necromancer priest. What are you implying? My zombies are approved by the Emperor. Those are Emperor-approved zombies. You've never heard of those? The EAZs. Emperor-approved zombies. It's just like, listen, you know how they have psychers to communicate over long distances and use the warp drives and do all of that shit? It's kind of like that. It's complicated. But they're Emperor-approved zombies. Yeah, exactly. They're holy zombies. See, if I wasn't using, like, the holy relic, then it would be heresy, because I'm not controlling them with holy spells. But because I'm using the holy relics of the Emperor, then it's not heresy. Okay? The Codex Astartes does not support this action. Now, wait a minute. Hold up. We don't have to bring the Space Marines into this. Government certified zombie horde. Exactly. The tech priests aren't heretics. Exactly. So faithful their body still served. Yeah, if you think about it long and hard enough, it's almost like they're dreadnoughts. They're just not as powerful. They're kind of like low-rank dreadnoughts. Right? Am I not correct here? They're kind of like low-rank dreadnoughts, if we really think about it. Zombie slave sounds like heresy to me. No, they serve willingly. They serve my priest willingly. But yeah, I'm excited for Path of Exile. Like, what do you guys think? Are you guys going to try out Path of Exile? Maybe not in early access, but maybe down the line. Let's see where chat sentiment is for PoE 2. I'm getting in on that early access. I don't know if I'm going to be able to stream it much because it's in December. It's Christmas time, family time. I'm going to do my best to stream as much as possible. But this December is going to be rough because I need to spend as much time as possible with my kids, because once February hits, Daddy's gone. You're not going to see Daddy for a good long while. I'm going to go get a pack of milk and I'm never going to come back for a month or so. So, you know. Already spent $500. Oh, we got like a 69%, which is nice. Nice. I'm going to end it there because it's at 69%. Doesn't get much better than that. 69% approval. It is what it is. God damn it. Somebody got one last vote in and it shifted into 70%. Haven't played PoE 1. Is it important to play it first? No. It's not important to play PoE 1 first. I've been playing PoE 1 just for fun, but it's not. I don't think it's important to play PoE 1 before you play it in PoE 2 if you want to. I'll mix Merc and Sork to make a gun mage somehow. Sounds like a lot of fun. So, time to give shout-outs to the Longbeards. Crisis, Chief Hellhunter, James Cheek 7507, Holy Tacos, Hidden Gamer, Draxus K, Drakmoth, Jet Black Ninja, El Renatus, Slam Iron, Sephirian, J Walco 4, Inazuma, Senior Bacon, Sam Castellan, Devin Widener, Astron R.H., Sherlock Para, Philip Figgy Grub, I think it's Grubham, Cole Brick, Khalid Lee, Red Pigbank, Rambo the Nerd, John Coombs, Pegay 83, Pizza Man Invaded, Miz and Jamal, Angry Scott's Dad 23, Alex SSS, Robert 396, and Shelby Necco. Thank you very much for being grossly incandescent as Longbeards, you Giga Chads. Tip of the hat. Appreciate the support. Thank you. Thank you very much. Isn't this game free to play? How's the monetization? From what I hear from the community and from what I've seen, monetization is strictly cosmetic, with the exception that they also sell you extra inventory tabs, which appears to be the only thing that you might eventually have to buy. But as far as I can tell, you can't really buy any form of currency. So like, you know, the multiple orbs that you need for doing a bunch of different shit, can't buy that, can't buy gold, can't do any of those things. So it's just the convenience of additional inventory slots. So yeah, that is my understanding. Stash tabs, not inventory slots. Yeah, that actually, Kegrin is right. It's stash tabs. The inventory slots are the same for everyone. It's stash tabs. But yeah, those are the only things that you can buy that have like a gameplay implication. Other than that, it's just cosmetic stuff. So I don't think that is a massive deal. Already better than Warframe then? Yeah. Yeah, Dregnov, I can tell that a lot of people are hesitant because of free-to-play. Free-to-play has gotten like a bad name over the years because of predatory monetization. But my understanding is that Path of Exile does not have predatory monetization. I should reach out, see if the devs would be down to do like a cons cast. I think that could be kind of interesting. Problem is that with them launching early access now, I don't know if they would have the time to do so. I think I tried reaching out to Grinding Gear Games when I went to Gamescom, but I never got a reply. So I don't know if they even were at Gamescom or not, but I do remember, I think I tried reaching out to them. So this is a video from Rage Gaming. I wanted to check this out. This is bad takes from Monster Hunter Wilds. I haven't had a chance to look up that many bad takes. I've seen some bad takes in my own comment section. They apparently have a compilation here, so I want to watch it and just see what people are saying. Let me link the video before we get started, though. Make sure that you guys give it a like. Now let's go ahead and check it out. Wait, did YouTube unsubscribe me? What the fuck, bro? The other day they unsubscribed me from Gaijin. Now they unsubscribed me from Rage Gaming. Like, fucking stop, YouTube. Fuck.
Hello and welcome back to Rage Gaming and more Monster Hunter Wilds talk. This time though, I'm taking over for Cotton for a one-off video. It's finally time for some new Wilds bad takes after that beta, but of course we're going to have good ones and fun discussion as usual. Try not to take this too seriously though. Some people have insane takes, but most are pretty reasonable.
I 100% will take everything that anybody says on the internet absolutely seriously, and I will demolish these people if I do not agree with their takes. This is serious fucking business, is what I say.
There's a lot we can talk about though, so let's start with this legendary post. As highlighted on Reddit by Alan Last Account, some absolutely insane takes for the insect glaive discussion that's going on. If people feel like they need to change their entire grip, that's their problem, not mine. I only slobber on my controller in low rank. That's how you sound. Playing greatsword since for you is irrelevant. Take your toxic positivity somewhere else, or yeah, have a great time is what he says, I'm sure.
Wait. If people feel like they need to change their entire grip, that's their problem, not mine. I only slobber on my controller in low rank is how you sound. So he didn't change his entire grip, so he's just playing the weapon inoptimally. He's just playing like a scrub. If you don't change your entire grip to play Insect Glaive like it was in the beta, you're playing like a scrub. Playing Greatsword since for you is irrelevant. Okay, you have no clue how Insect Glaive works and should shut the fuck up. Also, OTs empirically and objectively has less options. I don't know what OTS is. You wouldn't know since you don't play the weapon. Take your toxic positivity somewhere else. Actually play the weapon, speak about its actual problems. Okay, so the problem of it is not the control layout. Okay, that's good to know.
So if this confuses you, basically, Insect Glaive has changed quite a lot in Wilds. They've made some sweeping changes that I think validly a lot of people are upset
This idiot forgot to play the beta.
about. They made it so the Kinsect attacks in unison with you, so you don't really have that slow mini game to get your essences anymore. Some people actually really dislike that. Personally, I think it's fine. That old minigame was clunky as hell, but things like removing the aerial balance.
Hey, now, clunky as hell? What, throwing out your Kinsect? I don't know about that.
Of course, to basically mitigate or reduce the ability to do aerial gameplay on an Insect Glaive, I think is really bad. The way they messed with the infinite standing combo for the old grounded playstyle, that being drastically different, is unfortunate too. But on the other hand, it's not like the weapon is dead. It was literally middle of the pack, number 7 in terms of performance in the beta, in terms of the speedrun times against Ray Down.
And it's important to mention that performance in the beta is literally worthless. Like, I swear that I've seen so many takes on the beta of people just like going like, oh, this is objectively a problem. And it's like, bro, are you new here? Or like, what do you mean this is objectively a problem? It's the beta. There's no armor skills. Of course, some weapons are going to suck. And of course that in the betas, gun lances are always going to be really powerful because we do true damage. It's like there's so many bad takes from beta balance. It's insane.
Oh. So undeniably, it's an effective weapon in its current form. But is that the issue? No, not really. It's the removal of something that is ultimately fun, that people really liked, that's kind of part of the weapon fantasy. But I think a huge part of what's weird about Insect Glaive is the changes they made to the keybinds, the buttons you're pressing to do what. They swapped a few things around, and the new way you can charge attacks when you have red buff means you have to hold that button down in the middle of other attacks and combos.
I've made a whole video about this.
Weird claw grip, and a lot of people, again, I think have very valid concerns with that. Is this ridiculous post that we just looked at absolutely an overreaction and somewhat embarrassing for someone to put out into the world? I think so. But, you know, it's fair to have issues with the current Insect Glaive. There's a great post in counterpoint to all of that, though, by Joker Moonbow on the Reddit, stating that Insect Glaive's current form of grounded and aerial movements are in fact fluid, and you just need to learn how to use them. We're seeing incredible gameplay from different speedrunners, and it does look really fun. But my favorite comment was actually by this guy called Temporary Vice. They state that they main Insect Glaive, but grounded was always their playstyle, and that makes sense, because aerial was never really the best way to operate permanently. So he likes this version of the Insect Glaive because it makes him use, as a grounded player, actually use aerial stuff more often, like the new combo finisher. So it results in the weapon feeling more grounded and aerial as a hybrid instead of one or the other, as well as it's having great output and how extract gathering without that old minigame is a lot smoother. And he highlights, as I've said before, that in the beta we're using the default bug, the slowest, worst one. There's going to be high speed bugs that are going to feel so much better. But he also has criticisms. Doing combos while charging results in holding the control.
Yep. And this is a big problem. Like the way that you have to hold the controls and shit. This is why I said, like, if you get yourself a control with paddles like this, you don't have the problem anymore. You can solve it. But for people that have a standard controller, you know, there is a solution. If Capcom decides to implement my suggestion, which was super easy to implement,
control it
maybe.
in a weird, uncomfortable way, and they need to address that. Focus mode aiming the bug was a bit inaccurate, and the fact that they messed with aerial for a
yeah, the bug just goes to Narnia for some reason. I mentioned this in my video as well. Like, you'll aim the bug dead ahead, and the bug will go like, you want a 90-degree angle up? I can no, well, 90 degree is maybe too much, but it's more like, you want a 45-degree angle up? I can do that. Pew! And there he goes.
Your aerial playstyle is ultimately bad, even from the perspective of this guy, which is a ground-only insect glaive main. Because ultimately,
should I get an RTX 3070 or a 4060 at Rurikhan? I don't know, man. You need to look up benchmarks. I don't even know what's a good benchmark website. Benchmark 3070 versus 4060. It also depends on the version of that GPU that you buy. What's the VRAM on each of those GPUs? Looks like there's a slight favoritism towards the 4060. But the 3070 gets better frame rates, so maybe the 3070 is better? I don't know. It's just the thing is, 4060 is not very good. And the 3070 is kind of old. That's the problem. So like people are saying in chat, probably 4070 would be the way to go. Thing is, the price difference is massive. I think that the 3070 will probably get you better performance, but 4060 will probably be better supported. I don't know. I don't know, dude.
why reduce options on a weapon? But despite that, he's having fun with the weapon, but wants to see those improvements, and I agree. They need to fix the keybinds for the weapon. They should bring back bounce. There's no good reason to remove it. Otherwise, I really like the weapon.
There is a good reason to remove bounce. And I know that people don't like talking about the removal of bounce. Listen, as I've always said, I'm neutral. I'm not advocating for the removal of bounce. Quite the opposite. They bring it back, full beans. But one of the reasons why they might have removed the bounce is because if you played Rise and Sunbreak with the Insect Glaive, one of the things that you'll notice is that sometimes the aerial hitbox of monsters feels a little bit too punishing. Like, you'll be in a position where it feels like you shouldn't be getting hit, and you will get hit. And personally, I think that the reason why those aerial hitboxes on monsters are so punishing is because of the Insect Glaive bounce. They want to make sure that Insect Glaives can't just ignore a bunch of mechanics, and so they've made the hitboxes a little bit more punishing from a vertical sense, even when it doesn't seem to make that much sense. And I feel like they've done that for the Insect Glaive. I could be wrong. Could be wrong. But that's what I feel like. And I feel like that might have been the reason why they would remove the bounce. They'd remove the bounce, and then they'd be like, now we can have more accurate hitboxes because people can't just jump into the air and start ignoring mechanics. And people like to get into semantics arguments about this with me. I want to make it perfectly clear. I don't care if you want to ignore mechanics with Insect Glaive. This doesn't affect me in any way. I don't give a fuck, okay? You do you. I'm just trying to explain to you why they might have removed the bounce, okay? I don't care whether or not you want to do it. I'm not advocating for them to remove the bounce. I don't care, okay? Especially when you look at a video game that has the guns. Is like, again, balance is just something that I don't care about anymore when it comes to Monster Hunter, okay? I don't care if there's a weapon out there that's going to one-shot monsters. I don't give a fuck anymore, all right? I've gotten so much shit whenever I talk about balance in this game that personally, like, look, I play one of the weapons that has traditionally been the most underpowered weapon in the game. I do not care. I do not care. Dr. Ego, thank you very much for being with us for 19 months. Tip of the hat. Appreciate support. Thank you. Insect Glaive, aerial lover here. Removal was a good thing. The aerial hitboxes are so clean now. See, I didn't even know because I didn't even test the aerial hitboxes. But Kegrin, a lot of people disagree with you. I can promise you that. In Rise was not just Insect Glaive, all weapons with wire bugs. Yeah, there was also a lot of aerial shit. Even I was doing a bunch of aerial shit with the gun lance and whatnot. So yeah. Rory, I don't know if you know about this. I'm going to ask anyway. Is it illegal to play Monster Hunter Wilds now? I'm talking about private server thing. Is it illegal? No. I don't, at least as far as I'm actually, could it be? It might be because it violates the EULA? It might be. It might be illegal. But, yeah, it's something that I'm staying clear away from. I got nothing to do with any of that bullshit. I don't want to talk about it. But is it illegal or not? I don't know, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Now this one interested me because when I saw it, I was like, yeah, I guess. But is it that bad? There's this incredible meme from the early days of Elden Ring when people were complaining about the UI. Amazingly, we're talking about other game developers, not just like journalists or people that struggle.
Wait,
what's back bounce? There's no good reason to remove it. Otherwise, I really like the weapon. Now this one interested me because when I saw it, I was like, yeah, I guess. But is it that bad? There's this incredible meme from the early days of Elden Ring when people were complaining about the UI. Amazingly, we're talking about...
Gonna have to bring it back up. Is that still gonna show up in the recent images? Oh, absolutely. He's done. Oh shit, that's a bad image. Is there like a better one? Second. He's talking about this. You guys remember this? Elden Ring with the UX from fucking Ubisoft. You had like people from Guerrilla talking about this, developers from Ubisoft talking about this, talking about how like, oh, nobody cares about UX. You should have like, it's missing like a quest marker. It's like, get the fuck out of here! Get these people out of here! Look at this cancerous UI, dude. Look at it. Jesus Christ. Holy shit. This deserves the meme from like Full Metal Jacket of the drill instructor coming in and going like, what is that? What the fuck is that? A jelly donut? Just delete it, please. No, don't you guys want to appreciate this? God, this was fucking miserable. Remember the amount of developers that made a fucking big deal about this? Bunch of untalented people in this industry, I tell you, dude.
Other game developers, not just like journalists or people that struggle with games in general. The post was a very upvoted post on the Reddit by Vincent, with their only real complaint being that Wilds is pretty much the Elden Ring Ubisoft UI meme. This
What? Excuse me? I don't agree.
This absolute travesty upon your screen. Now, while this poster talks about how you can tune this down and disable some of the elements, they stated that it made them feel anxious, that the health bar and stamina doing the squiggle dance when things are going on, environment details popping up on the right side when something happens, obviously the online chat, fair enough, right? The
online chat needs to be something that we can disable. Like, I'm not looking to jump into a lobby and have a bunch of randoms just like fucking spam emojis, okay? People really like being obnoxious with that shit, and they were obnoxious during the beta. Let's just be real. The multiplayer chat needs to be able to be disabled. 100%.
Icon with its distance on the top, NPCs speaking sometimes, the fact that the new handler is following you around in the hunt, these things are definitely not the Ubisoft UI meme at all. So again, I can see like the two sides of this, where I remember when I opened the map for the first time, I was like, whoa, 3D and cool, and wow, that's a lot of icons. Like, that's way too many icons on my screen. It did not take long for me to get used to that. But let's say mid-hunt, you know, maybe you get a pop-up now and then like, hey, X monsters left the locale. That's not exactly a new feature for the Monster Hunter games. But when we've been playing this beta, we have been receiving a lot of pop-ups and information. And hey, you're a new player, here's this new player information. But it does make me wonder whether they're going to tone it down at all.
I mean, the thing is, this you can turn off. This is just here because we have it here, so you can turn this off. Unfortunately, I don't think you can turn off the squiggly lines on the health pool. Which this is something that even back at Gamescom, I gave that feedback to the team. I was like, this should be an option. Because there's going to be a lot of people that are not going to want that. I don't know about the side stuff. I'm kind of neutral on the side stuff. It's whatever. The map is not that intrusive. And the rest of it is not that bad.
After feedback from the beta, did you guys feel like the UI was too much? Things that I saw brought up in the comments of this post, though, were valid or interesting details, like getting a pop-up to tell you whether or not a flash bomb or a pitfall trap was actually effective. In that case, you can see and acknowledge, hey, look, it's in my trap. I can see it worked. Maybe at launch, there'll just be more toggleable options. Next, we just have a fun topic, and it's generally raid out, and I actually love the way that this person described it. This post by Sir_Seal states that,
hey, I thought that this was supposed to be bad takes. Raid out is awesome.
I've never seen a monster so universally loved so quick in regards to Raid Out. He's like the vice president to the flagship in my eyes. I love the idea that Raid Out is the vice flagship for the game. And I think a lot of people agree that this is the kind of monster that could have been the flagship for the game, fitting alongside great options like, say, Nergigante. I absolutely love the guy, from his visuals, his design, god, the sound design, the environment that he's in, the nest and the color of those crystals while you're fighting, the way they reverb his lightning. It's just absolutely fantastic and bodes super well for the rest of, say, the apex predators of the game. But he's incredibly popular. And what we're seeing is kind of an interesting take, that if you look back at World,
Raid Out will be the equivalent in popularity to Anjanath and World. Both are well designed, high on the food chain, monsters that will be introduced early on, which players will never be scared of.
Anjanath was kind of similar in his popularity. That moment when you step out into the forest and you encounter Anjanath and you're like, am I in Jurassic Park right now? We didn't quite have the same feeling for the reveal of Raid Out, but in terms of interacting with the monster and the enjoyment through that, I think we absolutely do have a similar comparison there. And I can only hope that the other apex predators are as popular, but even if not, they have absolutely knocked it out of the park with Raid Out. On that note, weapons and armor for Raid Out, it is obviously a big discussion after that beta. There's this great post by Database56. Please, Capcom, I beg you, make Raid Out's heavy...
First of all, Raid Out, the lightning beam is not a rail gun. I'm not sure how many times we're going to have to say this. That's not a rail gun. That is a lightning gun. A rail gun is a gun that has a rail and fires a projectile. That's a rail gun. It's magnetically accelerated projectiles, okay? It accelerates the projectile throughout a magnetic rail, and it shoots it out. That's a rail gun.
Heavy bow gun, a rail gun, like one of his horn antenna things. I want to see cool and fun weapons and unique designs in Wilds. Obviously, we don't want a repeat of World's designs, but I think they've learned their lesson.
Yeah, no more bits on
as
sticks.
A rail gun using the horns of Raid Out is an incredible concept for a heavy bowgun. The most upvoted post on that Reddit post is about having a charging sound when you're sort of lighting up the laser beam, which is a really cool concept.
What laser beam? What are we talking about? Laser beams. Laser beams from a heavy bowgun? The fuck are we talking about?
like that with Wyvern Fire. If we think about, say, Ray Dow's sound design, imagine what the hunting horn could be like and the unique sounds that could have. Give it the similar kind of crystalline theme and the way that they reverberate,
Star Wars,
make those unique sounds that Ray did. Now, to get back to some interesting kind of takes, let's call them, I saw this post by Sight Deep. I've seen that some people don't like the new monster designs. I want to ask, what is it you don't like about them? And this is crazy to me because every single time I've thought about these monsters and their designs, I think they're...
I know that Gaijin doesn't like the Doshiguma because he looks like almost got like an insect type face in a way. I like them. I like the new monsters. I think they look awesome. Especially this one, I think from looks, he looks amazing. I just don't like fighting him. Fighting him is annoying. Fighting Balahara, nightmare.
Some of the best, if not the best, designs for monsters that I've seen in any game. While, you know, in previous titles, there's like one or two that are stand out and really good and really memorable. For this beta, Chatakabra, Balahara, Doshiguma, and Ray Dow, every one of them is a unique hit for the series. I look at Doshiguma and then think of, say, Rise's one. It's Bear, the Azuros. It's not remotely comparable in terms of the mechanics, the design,
they use the
level
nuke.
of detail that it got. Chatakabra is hands down my favorite first monster of the series. He's like the perfect training dummy, teaching you all of the different mechanics, the way that he interacts with the ground based on what environment he's in. The exposing of his tongue to be like, hey, this is a weak point. You can instantly focus special attack this. He's not overly small. He's not overly big. And he does have a kind of unique nest where he goes to in the caves. He was absolutely the best training dummy I could have asked for when I didn't have a barrel in the open beta test. Balahara is the return of the kind of unique Leviathan models, the way that it worms around, the unique way that it uses the tail for different attacks that are really well telegraphed, but the way that it slithers around in the sand or climbs up obstacles, wrapping around them or other monsters. It's a real feat of the mechanic step forward that we've got in Wilds. This lineup is incredible, so the idea that people don't like them is crazy to me. And the best example or explanation that I found came from this user, Creepy Kid. I guess the reason why most people don't like the designs is how far of a departure they are from typical Monster Hunter design post Monster Hunter World.
I can see that being a thing. Like, people are just thinking about wyverns, which most of Monster Hunter World is wyverns and elder dragons. And now there's time to see, like, oh, we got like leviathans, we got like beasts, fanged beasts, we got like this toad looking thing. Like, what the hell is going on? So yeah, I can see it.
The top comment in reply said that World's base roster was a lot of...
Is Chatakabra a fanged beast? I guess it is, right? That'd have to be the tree that it goes into.
reptiles or just scaled monsters of some kind. It was...
Rui, would you want more returning monsters or original amphibian? Oh, it's just called amphibian? Okay. Would you want more returning monsters or original? I would rather have more original monsters.
Until Iceborne that we got a better variety of monsters in general for their designs. Meanwhile, you look at Wilds and it's like, yeah, we have a unique, really cool thing for all four of them. One take that I liked here is how someone said that they look like aliens and that bothered them, so they don't look like Monster Hunter monsters. And in response to that, we had this comment that the alien part actually seems intended. The designs are meant to feel very out there. It's the Forbidden Lands after all, stuff that wasn't really seen in the series before. It fits the wild setting. So I don't know, I don't think we're going to find a lot of people that really dislike these monster designs, but as always, some people will. For a fun mention though, obviously we've got to talk about the origami monsters. There's a post by PC Gamer that Monster Hunter Wilds low poly beasts have been lovingly adopted by fans, nicknaming them origami monsters. And I think we can universally say that, yeah, despite the crazy graphics...
Look at him. Observe the glory of Dorito Ray Dow. Jeff Keighley would be proud of this monster. Look at all those polygons, dude. Or lack thereof. Dorito Ray Dow. Ray Dorito, Poly Dow. There's a mod for those in World. You should use that in New World playthrough. No, I don't want to fight polygon-like monsters. I saw them once when I was testing out the 2060 because I lowered the mesh quality and I instantly got polygon monsters and I was like, oh, hell no. I put that mesh quality right back up to medium. That's a Tesla Cybertruck right now.
Graphic issues or performance issues of the PC beta, the fact that it did bring these ridiculous things to our screens, that
God,
people even
look at that
request
thing.
we get a setting to bring that back or turn that on if we want. Kind of like how, you know, with the arachnophobia mode, we can turn certain creatures into those slimes. Why not turn the monsters into the poly versions? They already exist in the game, apparently. I think that would be a really fun thing for them to do. Obviously, they do need to make sure the performance and these issues aren't present in the full release, but the beta has created a lot of good. Now, one big topic, obviously, is the whole hit stop thing. Obviously, we have to talk about it at least a bit in this video. We have discussed it quite a lot on the channel, though. Hit stop is when you collide with a creature or a target with your weapon, and there's kind of a delay, a bit of feedback, a response, and then the weapon goes through. It's almost like it's hitting a scale and then it pierces or something like that. With Wilds, they basically entirely removed that, resulting in the weapons feeling...
That is a gross exaggeration. They didn't entirely remove it. The way that it works, instead of getting hit stop, the weapon slows down during the attacks, which is what we've noticed last time we looked at the hit stop. But yes, it feels better with the hit stop than without it. And I think that one of the weapons that suffers the most from this is probably the sword and shield.
Faster and more floaty than before. With your faster weapons like dual blades and so on, I think this is barely recognizable, but with heavier weapons, it's certainly something you're going to feel a lot more. There was a great video by this person, Blue Stigma, who made different comparisons to different games, and of course the previous Monster Hunter games to show the difference that it is. So obviously this is a very well-known topic, and I think a lot of people would appreciate having it back. Personally, it's not a major issue for me, but I think with the community being so vocal about it, it would be another thing that they could do to, you know, satisfy a huge amount of people that are missing it. What do you guys think about the hit stop? When looking through the comments, I saw mostly reasonable responses and then a few interesting ones. There was this guy that left a lot of very negative comments in response to a lot, and I mean a lot of comments.
Mess up hit animations, remove players, need to think to aim or improve at a weapon. Great sword players eating good. This is so ass. Also, the sacred autopilot is so lame. Remove players need to think or aim or improve at a weapon. See, now that is indeed a fucking bad take.
Claiming that not only does the lack of hit stop remove the fun of the game, but also they've completely removed the player's need to think or aim or ever improve at a weapon because, you know, focus mode aiming. I definitely don't think focus mode has reduced the skill of the game. It's just definitely a nice quality of life. But hit stop, you know, very valid concern, I would say. There was one big post on the Reddit after the open beta, and I would say that there are parts of it that are really good kind of criticisms.
What I would say about focus mode is that it lowered the skill floor, but it hasn't lowered the skill ceiling. Does that make sense? Can we agree on that? Focus mode lowered the skill floor a little bit, but it hasn't lowered the skill ceiling. As a matter of fact, I think that in some weapons, it might have even increased it. Rurikhan, you think they will/can add traditional hit stop? I don't know, because I don't know at which point animations get implemented into the development cycle, and I don't know how easy it is to just change an animation. So yeah, I don't know.
It was posted by Moist Collection, and my favorite things that they said were how weather would change too often. I also felt that it would change from night to day too quick.
This is, I'm pretty sure, intended because they want to give you like, I think that Joe and Jono even talked about this in my podcast, right? How in the beta they wanted you to have a more self-contained experience, so the weather is changing faster than normal. Again, don't quote me on that, but I think that's might have even been confirmed. And that also might even cause monsters to move a little bit more than what you would expect.
or the
Which
weather
is another
would be too
complaint that
aggressive.
people have.
Personally, the biggest thing I want to see is a longer time of plenty, because it's when the game looks the best, and that's when I want to play in it the most. Mechanically, I do like the weather changes though, and there should be times where it's intense or not as pleasant, but if I'm going to play this for a long time, I want the pleasant time the most. He references hit stop, like the heavier feeling of weapons in World.
The developers have also confirmed that you can just sit in your tent and wait, kind of like Skyrim. You can just go up to your tent, wait, and then you get the desired world state, I think.
Or customizing the HUD, since there's a lot of pop-ups compared to what we've seen before that we'd love to be able to reduce. He references performance issues and the online lobbies mandatory. Obviously, when we were doing the open beta test, they wanted to test the online lobbies and the 100-player things and everything. So of course it was mandatory or forced on us.
I'm pretty sure it's not
going to be for the release. The last thing that I want to highlight that I really agreed with him was the monsters fleeing way too frequently. But in the beta,
Again, it's probably because of how often the time changes.
Realized that there are tricks to help me, like using lure pods to hold them in place for a little bit. But definitely, that is a big bit of feedback. Monsters flee too often. And now just for a fun one, it's something I mentioned before. It's the fact that in Monster Wilds, it seemed like the Charge Blade's upswing is no longer launched.
This fucking sucks. This is where I'm gonna pop right off, bro. I'm like, listen. Okay, this is gonna be controversial. This is gonna be real controversial, okay? This is like fucking mask off, okay? I don't give a fuck if it upsets you to get launched, okay? I do not care. This should never, ever, ever be removed. Period. There's not one good argument that anybody can make in favor of why this should be removed, except when you're carving. When you're carving, yes, fine. Have it removed because, you know, some people are going to be assholes and they're going to try to prevent other people from carving. Fine, I'll give it to you there. But when you're hunting, no, never, absolutely, get that shit out of here. No, it should be present every single time. Upswings from Charge Blade, upswings from Greatsword, upswings from Hammer. Everything goes. Shit, we might even go back to fucking Generations Ultimate, and the third shield slam of the Sword and Shield should throw people as well. I'ma say it. I don't care. I don't care. And Wyvern Fires should absolutely launch people as well. No excuses. Does anybody disagree with me? I need to know, because I'm banning everybody. You got, okay, mods, anybody that disagrees with this take, ban them. Okay? I'm joking. Don't actually ban people. But like, no, but seriously. It's like, what do you mean? Removing, like, I don't like this idea of removing friendly fire. I don't like it. I don't even like flinch free. I don't like flinch free, and I'll tell you what else. What's the one that we got in Sunbreak? Shockproof? I better never see that skill again.
Could be so
ever.
Incandescent.
Pro Mag, thank you very much for being grossing us for 23 months. Tip of the hat. Appreciate the support. Thank you. We need more inconvenience in the game. Absolutely. I remember when my son was in a hunt and he felt bad that he launched you away from the monster with his charge blade. That's awesome. That's fucking awesome. But it's true, it ruins the strategy of positioning, makes it so that everyone is aiming for the head, which I hit in Rise. Absolutely, dude. Abso-fucking-lutely. Caps lock is cruise control for cool. Just don't abuse it. Because otherwise you get too cool and I ban you. Devin Widener, thank you very much for being grossing us for 5 months. As a long beard, you Giga Chad. Tip of the hat. Appreciate the support. Thank you. Whoa, Echo Chamber. I had a hunt where I couldn't do anything because they were launching me on purpose. Leave and join a new hunt. If you're going to tell me that every single hunt you joined, you were getting launched 100% of the time, I'm not going to believe you. I believe that it happened to you, that you went into a hunt and there were 3 people that just decided, let's bully the newbie or something, or not even the newbie, let's just bully this person that's not in our group, let's launch him all the time. I can believe that happens. But if you tell me that happened to you every single time you played with somebody else, I don't believe you. You can just leave and join another quest. Like, but I'm sorry, like, not everything when it comes to online gaming, not everything needs to be 100% sanitized into a safe space. No, I don't agree. And the constant removal of friendly fire from games is actually miserable for me. I'm not even exaggerating. It is miserable for me. I want to get flinched by long swords. Yes, flinch me, and then I'll troll you for flinching me. Yes, this is part of the experience. Just like whenever I wyvern fire somebody, I deserve to get flack as well. It's part of the experience. Like, listen, I played Remnant 2 in co-op with Kegrin and Wada, and friendly fire was on because you can't turn it off unless you lower the difficulty to some ridiculous extent. Because friendly fire is part of the experience, and I think it makes for a better experience. Objectively, a better experience. 100%. Like, because here's the situation, right? You're gonna say like, oh, it's inconvenient for me to get launched by another player. Okay, you know what else is inconvenient? To get launched by the monster. It really fucks up my combo when the monster interrupts it. So the monster just shouldn't be able to interrupt my combo. Hell, you know what else? What else is inconvenient? The monster moves too much. He should just stay there and take what's coming to him. Yup. Because it's inconvenient when he moves. You know what else is inconvenient? Sharpening. Eating for stamina. These are all things that are very inconvenient. No, I don't agree. No. Absolutely, players should be launched by other weapons every time. And flinch free shouldn't even exist. We should go back to teaching players, no, the hammer goes on the head, the longsword goes on the tail, you know, the other weapons go throughout different parts of the monsters, and you do your best. However, couple of things that need to happen. The flinching on Lance is ridiculous. This is the most tank-like weapon, and it is also the most flinchable weapon. That's not reasonable. The flinching on Lance should be reduced slightly, because Lance is by far the most hurt weapon when it comes to flinching. Like, I'll be in there with my gun Lance, friggin' full bursting all day, not getting flinched. Lance goes in there, tries to do a poke, gets flinched out of the map. No, that's unreasonable. So it's like they can't have Lance flinch as much as it does. Should it flinch? Yes, it should flinch like, I don't know, 50% of what it flinches right now. But yeah. Ruri the Gen X who thinks he's a boomer. No, I'm actually a millennial. If we're going to be accurate, I'm a millennial. I'm from 1982. I think that counts as millennial. I Googled that at one point because I actually don't know about like boomer, millennial, Gen X, the fucking Zoomer. You know? I actually don't know all that much, but I'm pretty sure I'm a millennial. But yeah. But no, we should absolutely have friendly fire because it makes more sense. Like, it's like, oh, we're gonna remove friendly fire. We're gonna start removing collision between players as well because, you know, you're gonna get stuck on another player. That's not convenient. Might as well remove collision with the monster too because I want to make sure I hit the right. No, friendly fire has been there since the beginning. It should still be there. That is one of the things that I do not agree. Should absolutely still be there.
Other hunters, and we're seeing changes with the weapons in general for these mechanics. If you're in an online hunt, it's already annoying enough if like some longsword user's doing his combo and flinching you. You need to bring flinch free.
Is Hollow really gonna have the bad take? It turns out that Hollow was the one with the bad take all along.
To a multiplayer hunt. That's just a fact. But it seems that that's less the case in Wilds than before, especially again with these launch attacks. Some of them still absolutely do exist, but it does seem like they've tackled this issue. Is it an issue that they should have tackled though? A lot of people were just memeing obviously in the comments like, now the game's completely unplayable. This is terrible. But of course...
That, by the way, that's not my point at all. The game is obviously still playable without all of that stuff, but is it less fun? Absolutely. For me, it is absolutely 100% well, not 100%, but it is like 20% less fun.
There are actually some people that are serious. It's a fun thing to do when you're online and you just do it for a bit of fun with like a friend. But let's say you go into an online lobby and join a random hunt and people are just intentionally messing with you. It's annoying. There's not much you can do. But I do wonder whether we kind of...
It's like, to me, it's still, how often does this actually happen? Because, like, I've done public lobbies, and as a streamer, you would expect you'd get a bunch of people coming in just to fuck with you. And I don't remember, like, one time where it was done that it was annoying. Where people were actually just trying to fuck with me. Like, it hasn't happened. And by the way, I've also been to other public lobbies outside of live streams. Never happened to me. I'm not exaggerating. It has never once happened to me where people are just like coming after me and fucking with me and not letting me do my thing. Not once in over like 3,000 hours, well, more if we include World and Rise Sunbreak. This is where I would play with randoms because in the older games I usually just play with friends. But like World, Iceborne, Rise Sunbreak, in probably over like 4,000 hours, I think is probably the grand total of all different platforms and all that shit. In over 4,000 hours, this situation that people talk about, oh, people fucking bullied me in a lobby. This hasn't happened to me once. 4,000 hours, not one time. Now, I believe that this happens to people, but I also believe that it is grossly exaggerated to the frequency of times that it happens to people.
Lose a bit of the silliness and fun of online play with others when we mess with the things that can interact with the other hunters directly in this way. And lastly, before we are actually at it, very soon we have the Game Awards, and it's obviously been a big discussion recently that
vote for Monster Hunter Wilds most anticipated. It needs to win.
And a lot of us have, made sure
needs to win.
I believe it's going up against Grand Theft Auto 6. So
we're gonna win.
How much hope we have?
We're gonna crush the normies.
I think that'll do for this special episode of Monster Hunter Wilds Takes. Just a fun discussion with a little bit of.
We're gonna crush the normies.
The Game Awards in the hopes of more information, be that the next trailer or maybe even another beta, or more likely, I think, a demo announcement. Maybe we're not so far away from playing Wilds again. Hopefully. Until next time, then. I've been Hollow. You've been you. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Okay, guys, make sure to check out the video, give it a like, all that good stuff. Love their content, fun times. But now it's not happening, brother. Well, not with that attitude, it's not. We have to win. We have to crush the normies, okay? We have to. We absolutely have to win by all means necessary. But the normies are the majority, Ruri. I don't care. Listen, you ever seen 300? And you can say, well, they lose. But they looked really cool right up until the moment they lost, okay? That's us. We might lose, but we're going to hold them down on the gates of hell with our bold 300, everybody with their shields up. We're going to win, goddammit. Metroid Prime 4 will be the dark horse. I don't care. We can hold out for weeks. Exactly. We're going to make them suffer for it, dude. Can you post it? I'll go vote now. Game Awards. Interesting. On Google, it still said the Game Awards 2023. Nominees, view all categories. It was most anticipated. Where the fuck is it? Here. There you go. Go vote. Go vote for Monster Hunter Wilds. Go do it right now. You have to sign in. Just use like your Twitter account or your Facebook account or some bullshit that nobody cares about. A tie would unite the worlds. I don't want to unite the worlds. I want to crush them. Let's vote GTA 6. Stop! Don't you fucking dare, Raph. I'll ban you. I'll ban you. By the way, I haven't even asked for likes in this stream. Can you guys like the stream real quick? Thank you. Appreciate you. So, interesting thing. Final Fantasy XIV is coming up with a mobile version. Now, initially when I saw this announcement, I assumed that the mobile version would just be like a client that would connect to the servers of Final Fantasy XIV. It's not. It apparently is going to be its own game, which is weird. I did not expect that. There's also an interview with Yoshi P that I'm going to be watching because I'm assuming he's going to reveal some more stuff. But I found myself somewhat interested in this, not because of the mobile version, but I do wish there was like a PC client for this, or maybe even like a Switch client for this, because apparently they're going to simplify the controls. And I know that a lot of people are going to be like, they're dumbing it down. And it's like, I don't think that the controls in Final Fantasy XIV are complicated per se, but I don't find them to be particularly fun to do over long periods of time. Because it's like, it's the same rotation over and over. It's like, boom, boom, boom. Okay, press this, press that, ba-doom, ba-doom, ba-doom. And I would like there to be a more interesting combat system. I don't know if that's what this is. Obviously, they're not going to be able to do much by using fucking... Get tap on the screen. I hope it's got controller support. But I am curious as to what they're doing. Not to mention that, like, after Dawn Trail, I'm kind of like, oh, I just want to go back to Eorzea, bro. I just want to go back, replay the story that way. I don't know. Could be interesting. Let's take a look.
世界中の光の戦士の皆さんこんにちは。ファイナルファンタジー14プロデューサー兼ディレクターの吉田です。新生ファイナルファンタジー14のスタートから11年、本当に長い期間献身的な皆さんサポート本当にいつもありがとうございます。ファイナルファンタジー14は次なる10年に向けてさらなる挑戦として今回モバイル版の開発を発表させていただきました。こちらはファイナルファンタジー14本体をモバイル用に完全アレンジしたモバイルデバイス用の最新 MMORPG です。アレンジとはいえですね、ストーリーや
No, I
バトル
haven't
コ
seen
ンテ
the
ンツな
one
ど
word
その
challenge.
再
We
現
should
に
watch that
は
afterwards.
ものすごい情熱と品質
Faithfully
それらを
recreate the
追求
story,
してライトスピード
duties,
スタジオの
battle
皆さん
content, and
が
other
献身
aspects
的
of the
に開発
original
をし
game.
てくださっています。すでにファイナルファンタジー14をプレイしている皆さん
I
も
wonder how they're
そして
gonna
これから
monetize it, because they already said it's not gonna be
ファイナルファンタジー14の物語
gacha.
に触れてくださる皆さんもぜひぜひ今後の展開にご期待ください。ファイナルファンタジー14プロデューサー兼ディレクターの吉田でした。それ
Reed, do you think with the release of Xenoblade X, Nintendo might release a 3U and 4U collector's edition? No, because that would be a Capcom decision. And from what I've heard so far, I wouldn't say that's happening. I don't have any like internal confirmation or anything like that, but it's just some of the conversations that I've had like through podcasts and stuff like that. You know, all public stuff. My intuition tells me that's probably not going to happen.
それではトレーラーどうぞ。
Visuals look pretty similar to what we already have in game, which is interesting. Wait a second. One, two, three, 6. So it's still 8-player duties. There's no way you're doing no fucking Final Fantasy 14 rotation on this. It's not happening. Unless they're doing like the PvP simplification thing. Did you guys see that Felcleave? Oh, I just realized something. These probably symbolize the classes that are going to be available on launch. The Popotos. Lalafels, I mean. Damn it. So, Monk, I can't see which one was in here. Is that Black Mage? Probably Black Mage. Monk, Black Mage, White Mage, Paladin. Fuck is this? Summoner? Can't tell. Dragoon, Bard, this is Marauder. I don't know if I should play, and yeah, this one would be Black Mage. I don't know if I should play Marauder or Paladin. Yeah, you can see them here. Yep, Black Mage, Monk, White Mage, Marauder, Paladin, Scholar, actually. Wait, Scholar or Summoner? Summoner, right? Scholar? So where's Summoner? There's no Summoner. Did you guys see any Summoners in the trailer? I don't think we've seen any Summoners in the trailers. Benched Keck W. It's funny because Summoner is probably one of the simplest DPSs right now. Right? Wouldn't Summoner be one of the easiest ones to adapt? Nine classes on launch, including Summoner? Okay. The world of Final Fantasy XIV continues to expand and evolve beyond the release of Realm Reborn in 2013. The momentum has not slowed. The title recorded its highest number of concurrent players in July 2024. Now Square Enix looks to further broaden the potential for the game, announcing alongside Lightspeed Studios. By the way, Lightspeed Studios is the studio that Itsuno went to. The director of Dragon's Dogma 2.
世界中の光の戦士の皆さん、プレイヤーの皆さんのご支援の
Congratulations, successful launch Of the 7.0 expansion, Dawn Trail, it's been reported Final Fantasy XIV set a new record for the highest concurrent player count, which is an outstanding achievement. Yeah. I didn't like it, though.
まずは何より、世
We
界
could
中
not
の
have done this
光
without
の
support
戦
of all
士
the
の
warriors
皆
of
さ
light
ん、
around
プ
the
レイヤーの
world.
皆さんのご
Deeply
支援あって
grateful.
のことなので、大変嬉しく思ってます。これからも頑張ってい
Continue
きますの
striving
で、
to our
よろし
best.
くお願いします。本当にありがとうございます。まあ、ファイナルファンタジー14は申請してからここまで、まあ、11年、
Final
さ
Fantasy
まざまなア
released
ップデートをこう
updates
繰り返
over
して
the 11
成
years
長さ
since
せ
its
てもら
birth.
って
It's
きた
grown
んですけど、
significantly.
やっぱり一つ世界
One
で今一
challenge,
番
the
大きな
tapping
市
at the
場で
world's
ある
largest market, the
スマートデ
mobile
バイスってい
platform.
う市場に対してはどうしてもこう進出できない、まあ、なぜならやっぱりファイナルファンタジー14っていうのは
The reason is that
非常
Final
に
Fantasy
複雑な
XIV, massive
メカ
amounts
ニ
of
クス
battle
い
content,
ろんなバリエーション
deep
の違った
gameplay mechanics in
遊び
addition
コ
to
ン
a
テンツ
wide
っていう
variety
の
of
が
other
膨大
game
に存在
content.
しているので、これをすべてこうモバイルスマー
About
ト
it
デバイスで
impossible for
体験していくっていうのは
to have the same gameplay experience on a mobile device. Because it is impossible for them to have the same experience on a mobile device. That is why the game is different.
で、正直やりたいっていう
We had a strong desire to develop a mobile version.
難しいだろうなっていう
Almost gave up to the
ふうに
perceived
諦めかけてた
difficulty.
ところに実は
It's interesting if you consider that World of Warcraft was the dominant, hell, probably still is the dominant MMORPG in the market. It's impressive to see that Yoshi P has kind of like cut them off at every turn. So his MMO is on both PC and console. It supports controller natively with one of the best controller supports you can have for an MMORPG. And it is now coming to mobile, and it has managed to do all of these things before World of Warcraft, which had the biggest early advantage of everybody else.
本当世界でもそのスマートデバイス、モバイルのゲームを開発するっていうところに対してものすごい技術力とそれから実績を持っているライトスピードというスタジオの皆さんからなんとかライトスピードで14のモバイル版を作らせてくれませんかっていうお話をいただいて、正直最初はびっくりしました。まあ僕らもよく知っているスタジオだったので、まさかその14に声をかけてくれるとは思ってなくて、ただまあ僕がそのモバイルって言ってもこう例えばそのマネタイズ部分だったりとか、それからじゃあどうやってそのゲームデザインの根幹っていうのをうまくモバイルユーザー、スマート
Monetization core gameplay to be more accessible to mobile
デバイスユ
users.
ーザーの皆さんが遊びやすいようにゲームデザインを変えていったりするのかっていう部分で結構厳しいフィードバックをさせていただいたこともあるんですけど、
So tell us about that
その都度
monetization.
スタジオの皆さんがものすごい何度もこう使用書企画書を書き直し、熱心に日本に通ってプレゼンをしてもらって、しかもその中でスタジオヘッドの方もそれからスタッフの皆さんもとにかく14が大好きで、何としても自分たちの手で最大の市場であるそのモバイル市場に14を投入して、もっとたくさんの人にこのゲームを遊んでもらいたいっていう情熱がまあ一番の決め手となって、本当にたくさんのフィードバックさせてもらったものをこうどんどん乗り越えてくださったので、かなり困難な道のりではありましたけど、本当に素晴らしいクライアントを作っていただいたので、僕自身もとても楽しみにしています。まあ、ファイナルファンタジー14本体とファイナルファンタジー14モバイルは
Developed
別々
and
に開
operated
発運営されて
independently.
いくので、まあ、どうしても本体がね当然先行して進んでいくっていうことになるんですが、まあ、やっぱり兄弟タイトルのように我々も今回徹底的に監修もさせてもらってますし、まあ、この先の
It's like if you consider that one of the things that interests me the most in 14 is the story more than anything. I think that the mobile version might even end up being better to experience the story. I think the thing that it sucks is that you have to do it on your phone. Like, because it's like I want what he's saying, but I don't want it on a fucking phone. Right? It's weird, dude. Why does it have to be on a phone?
しっかりやっていこうと思いますので、まあ、兄弟作品のように共に成長していければと思いますので、ぜひファイナルファンタジー14本体で楽しんでいる皆さんも モバイル市場でモバイルのゲームとして14を遊んでみようかなって思ってる皆さん
An interesting thing is that mobile can almost be Final Fantasy XIV Classic. That makes sense. What about a tablet? You're missing the point. I just don't want it on these things. Like, I even have a thing to put this on top of a controller and then you can use it with the controller. But, yeah, it's just like... anything that you put on mobile that is worthwhile, you should be able to just port to PC. Okay? Hell, even Diablo Immortal had a fucking PC client.
ぜひね、両方期待していただけると大変嬉しいです。やっぱり一番大きいのは、ファイナルファンタジー14、本体が、PC や家庭用ゲーム機で、どっしり腰を落ち着けてプレイするっていうゲームデザインになっているのに対して、今回のファイナルファンタジー14モバイル版に関しては、例えばゲームプレイが、移動中の合間になったりとか、もっと気軽にカジュアルに短時間で楽しめるみたいなところに、ゲームデザイン自体を全体調整していかなきゃいけないので、そのあたりの監修っていうのは本当に一つ一つ徹底して、やらせていただきましたし、特にパーティープレイになってくるバトルシステム部分に関しては、コンテンツの内容一つ一つをちゃんとモバイルユーザーが楽しめるようにギミック一つ一つを調整していかなきゃいけないので、ここら辺の特に一番最初のサンプルになってきたものに関しては、本体側のバトルチームやコンテンツデザイナーチーム、僕も含めてですけど、みんなでプレイしながらフィードバックを返して、どういったものであればモバイルユーザーの皆さんにも楽しんでもらえるマルチプレイになるのかというところとかは徹底的に検証させてもらってます。あとやっぱり一番大きいのは、本当にライトスピードの皆さんというのは14のストーリーっていう部分にものすごくリスペクトをしてくださっているので、何としてもモバイルユーザーの皆さんにこのストーリーっていうところを完全再現したいって言っていただいているので、そこをじゃあどうやってうまく再現していくのかみたいなところはかなり、我々のシナリオチーム側にもフィードバック監修してもらってます。基本的にライトスピードの皆さんは14の中にあるものは全て何としてもモバイル版に再現したいっていう意気込みを持ってくださっていて、たださっきもお話しした通り、その中でも特にストーリーの再現性っていうところにはめちゃくちゃこだわっていらっしゃるので、ストーリーという部分に関してはファイナルファンタジー14をすでにねプレイしている方はモバイルで改めてね追体験できますし、まだ14をプレイしていない方に関してはスマートデバイスで新たにね冒険を始めてもらって、そのストーリーっていうのを完全に体験していただけると思いますので、ぜひぜひ、もちろんその中でも数多くのねコンテンツ、そして非常に人気の高いサウンド、楽曲も完全再現を目指して開発をしておりますので、これからの追加情報もぜひ、ご注目ください。モバイル版のストーリーの最初っていうのは14本体と同じくバージョン 2.0 の冒頭から、スタートしていきます。ただ当然14本体も 7.0 まで進んでますので、膨大なコンテンツ、それから膨大なストーリーっていうのがすでにね出来上がって準備されているので、それらを順次どんどんテンポよくねリリースしていくという予定になってます。ただこのリリースのスピード、テンポっていうのも皆さんのフィードバック次第で、少しね早まったりとか、ちょうどいいよっていうのでそのまま進めていったりとかしていくと思いますので、ぜひですねプレイをしてみてのフィードバックっていうのをお寄せいただけると嬉しいです。バトルシステム、それからジョブのデザインに関しては当然モバイルユーザー、スマートデバイスで遊ぶのに適した内容にする必要があるので、全てのアクション、ジョブアクションに関しては調整をしっかりモバイルユーザーにさせていただいてます。それからですね、当然マルチプレイをしていく上で、例えばタイタン、
They're gonna have extremes as well?
挑戦するときっていうのは、インターフェースがスマートデバイスのタッチメインにバーチャルスティックみたいなもので遊んでいくことになるので、それに適したアクション数だったりアクション内容だったりっていうものに
Virtual joystick Virtual joystick Virtual joystick is so bad. When you think you're gonna get Wild's creator code, Rui, I don't know if I'm even getting one. I mean, when am I gonna get it? I don't know.
全て調整してあります。でコンテンツのギミック一つ一つも モバイル用でエキサイトできるように一個一個全てのバトルコンテンツに対して調整を入れていってるので、こちらに関しては、14チームのバトルシステムチーム、それからコンテンツデザインチーム
Talk about
というのが
controller
完全
support.
監修アルファベータとずっとやらせていただいているので、そこに関してはぜひモバイルで最大限楽しめる内容になっていると思いますので、期待してお待ちください。はい、もちろんです。ものすごいスピードで本当ね、ライトスピードの皆さんの技術力ちょっと信じられないぐらいすごくてですね、ものすごい勢いでコンテンツどんどん、モバイル版として実装していってくれてるんですけど、当然クラフターもギャザラーも、しかもそれがちゃんとね、プレイスタイルに合わせて、モバイルユーザーでも楽しめる内容に調整しながら全て実装されてますし、もちろんゴールド操作、それからトリプルトライアードなんかもモバイル用にアレンジされた状態でしっかり実装進んでおりますので、ぜひですね、バトル以外の要素、14ってやっぱりその世界で暮らすっていう部分もすごく楽しいゲームなので、そちらに関してもかなり力を入れて開発進んでますので、楽しみにしててください。僕がそもそもゲームデザインする時から
Okay, here we go.
ビジネ
Monetization.
スモデルの一つだっていう認識をしながら作ってゲームデザインも含めて作っていくものですが、今回も当然ですがめちゃくちゃ、気にしてます。というのもやっぱり元々の14がサブスクリプションベースで作られているゲームなので、それをやっぱりモバイル市場、モバイルユーザーに届けるためにはやっぱり主力であるフリートゥプレイにしていく必要がある。じゃあそうなってくるとマネタイズどうするんだっていうポイントが出てきます。ただ最初の段階からライトスピードの皆さんから提案があったものっていうのは、ものすごい数の例えばガチャを回してもらってとにかくお金を稼ぎましょうみたいな提案ではなくて、14を原作リスペクトしながらモバイル以上にどれだけ長く遊んでもらうかっていうことを意識したデザインで最初から提案をしていただいているので、
Okay, what is this
僕らとして
monetization?
はとにかく一人のお客様が長くね14を楽
He's not going to say it. He's not going to tell us what the monetization is.
しんでもらえるように少しのお金をいただきながらたくさんの人で遊んでもらうっていうマネタイズになっているので、ぜひそこはですねあまり心配なさらず
There's no
に
need to worry too
思い切
much.
って楽しんでい
Just
ただけ
dive
れ
in
ば
and enjoy the
僕ら
game.
としては嬉しいところになってます。やっぱりファイナルファンタジー14というゲームは気になってたけど、なかなかやっぱり PC とか家庭用ゲーム機でどっしり遊ぶ気にはなかなかなれないなって言ってた方が当然一番の僕らのターゲットです。気軽にですねどこにいながらでも14の世界にアクセスして14のストーリーやねバトルコンテンツっていうのを楽しめるっていうところが一番ですので、ぜひ気になってたけどまだ触ってないんだよなという方は今回のファイナルファンタジー14モバイルを通じてですねオルゼアの世界にログイン冒険していただけると嬉しいです。ちょっと自分で言うのも恥ずかしいんですけど、壮大なストーリーがあり、ものすごい数のバトルコンテンツがあり、いろんな変化、
Yeah,
それから
there's no
グラフィック的
real
な魅力に
answer
あふれた冒
so
険世界
far.
っていうのが広がっていて、かつ壮大で大人気なゲームサウンドの数々、そして何より僕自身が本当に世界一だと思っているプレイヤーコミュニティの皆さんが、いて、あなたの冒険を待っているというところが14の魅力なんじゃないかなと思ってます。まずはそもそもとてもねありがたく思ってます。どうしてもMMORPG 遊んだことのない方とかだと、これだけ長く続いてるゲームになる、もしくはモバイルも運営スタートしてから1年2年経っていくとなかなか追いつけないんじゃないかみたいなイメージってお持ちなんじゃないかなと思います。ただ14のコミュニティの皆さんというのはとにかく新しい若葉マークをつけているキャラクターに対してとても優しい。でもうとにかく若葉を見つけたらそっと見守って彼らが冒険でつまずいたり困ったりしないように優しく手を差し伸べようっていう人たちが本当に多いです。新規のプレイヤーの皆さんとそれからベテランを一緒に楽しく遊べるっていう仕組みをたくさん用意してありますので、ぜひですね MMORPG の魅力というのをもっとたくさんの方に知っていただきたいと思っていますので、ぜひプレイの方よろしくお願いします。先ほどもありました通り、ゲームデザインもかなり今回モバイル用にバトルシステムも各種コンテンツも調整してますし、それからいろんな地域の、フィードバックを僕ら、求めていますので、改めてマネタイズっていう部分も含めていくつかの地域でグローバル全体でちょっと、テストをさせていただいた後、まずは中国本土で、サービスをスタートし、 まあいろんな調整をねフィードバックさらにもらって
Mainland
た上
China?
で今度はグローバル全体にサービスを広げていければな。
Bro, what the fuck? Okay, you said literally everything that I needed to hear. We're gonna release in China first. Okay, I know exactly what you're doing. Okay, that's it.
なと思ってます。それぐらい慎重に、計画を進めていこうと思ってますので、まあ、もうちょっとねそのあっちの地域でなんかテストしてるとかなんか俺たちはまだ遊べないのかとかあるかもしれませんが、そうやってねきちんとステップバイステップでやっていこうと思ってますので、ぜひこれからの進捗にもご期待ください。
Nah,
僕
bruh.
はオリジナルの14の引き継ぎからもう13年以上かな関わってますが、とにかくどこまでも発展が続く MMORPG としてですね、引き続きどんな人でもどんなプラットフォームでもどんなプレイスタイルでもとにかく楽しい、それを目指して、拡大していこうと思ってます。
Nah, bruh.
なので、ゴールはないと思ってますし、僕はとりあえずリタイアするか死ぬまで14頑張っていこうと思いますので、これからもよろしくお願いします。
Greed maxing, bro. Greed maxing. See, cause like the thing that I want is like I've always just wanted a way to experience the story without having to commit to all of the other stuff. Cause like if you're paying a monthly fee, you're gonna be like, well, I should be doing raids, I should be doing these things. And I was just hoping that this would be a more lax version of that. It's like, raid if you want to, don't raid if you don't. You know, you get all the loot that you want, as opposed to like, no, you get like your scheduled loot and whatnot. I get why they do it like that, but mobile is just rife for this type of stuff to actually get worse. But I don't know. I'm super conflicted about this because I've always wanted to be able to experience the story without having to commit the time required to actually play an MMORPG. But the more I was listening during this, I was like, nah, I should just play the regular version. I should just play the regular version. I think that's the conclusion that I've reached. So let me just check out this Fujioka video that I almost forgot about. So this is Fujioka taking on the one-word challenge. Characters.
ガチャガチャ楽しいやつ。
Energetic.
正義、
Justice.
未来。
Future. Huh. And did you see how fast he said it? Why would Nata, why would the defining word for Nata be future? Interesting. Kids are our future? I don't know.
献身
Sacred.
的、
Loyal.
寄り添う、
Compassionate.
包容力、
The cut!
包容力、
The cut! Look at it right there. Wait. Huh. That's an interesting change of frames there. Fujioka is like, that midriff. That midriff.
包容力、 始まり、
Beginning.
生命力、
Vitality.
チーズ、
Cheese. I thought of cheese too.
ホップ、
Pop.
いじめっ子
Bully.
白騎士
Knight.
プロレスラー
Pro
先
wrestler.
生妖艶
Alluring.
イケメン
Handsome. What two weapons do you bring on a hunt?
ランスとランス相棒
Partner. Describe the monster in the community in 3 words.
仲間一緒に成長
Friends, progress,
あとは感謝ですねはい
gratitude. That's cool. Had to hit that Dwayne face. Kutku Sensei. Yep. We all know what he's thinking. Oh, man. This is a fun stream, but team, I gotta get out of here. I'm gonna go pick up my kid. Thank you all very much for hanging out with me. I'll see you guys in the next one. If you enjoyed, do hit that like button, subscribe for more Monster Hunter Wilds and more content. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe. Peace out, team.